Welcome to the Smiling Suffer podcast. On the mic, you got Corey. Courageous. It's been a hot minute. In front of me, I have Yeti.
What's up, guys?
Which is interesting because usually you guys used to be beside me, but now I'm on the mics. I'm on the ones and twos and shit.
You're on the board.
I'm on the boards today, and of course you have G. Mr.
Black
G.
James Bond, man.
How you doing?
I did, man.
Are you with us today?
007.
Your soccer?
I'm doing what I'm doing, man.
Right.
You do what you do. Day or day, so I did my own day.
But yeah, it's nice to be back. It's been a hot minute. It's been a very, very long time. It's been like a month and a half. What have you guys?
That long?
Yeah, it's about a month and a half because we took all of July off.
Oh, true.
Yeah. What have you guys been up to?
Not much. Having a hot girl summer.
You moved into your new place, didn't you?
Yep.
Nice. How'd you like that?
It's nice. I'm by myself now.
You're by yourself? Well, no, it's you and your sister.
I mean, like no parents.
Your mom is missing you guys already.
Of course, she wants us to come home every day. Like that's the whole. What's the point?
And Wale, how about you? What have you been up to?
Just been doing
Hot Boy Summer?
Nah, it's City Boys, first of all.
City
No, there's Hot Boy and there's City Boy.
There's Hot Boy and City Boy.
City Boys are the scammers. City Boys are the scammers.
And City Girls are the scammers as well.
Yeah, and then Hot Girls and Hot Boys are the hoes.
No, they're just doing them.
Yeah, okay, I
I'm
guess.
doing.
I guess
the definition for hot girl is they are doing them, but boys is they are scammers and fraudsters.
No. Can I tell you? So Hot Boy
Please,
Summer
me, I've
and
been
Hot Girl
doing-
Summer is doing you
I've
living your
been
best
doing-
life.
okay, but City is the one,
Yeah, the
okay.
scammers. Yes.
I've been doing Jesus Christ Summer, man.
Fair enough.
Child of God Summer, man.
And that's part of being a hot girl summer. I'm doing me, which includes my church, my life, everything I want to do.
Well, there's a lot that has been going on in the last month.
Yes, where to
And
begin?
change. The song we just played now was Burna Boy's Collateral Damage. So dope
He's
record.
having a hot boy summer.
Dope record. He's having a hell of a summer. He's been all over the
all over
US
the place.
doing his thing. He's in Cali. Well, first of all, let's start with the album. African Giant.
African Joint.
African Giant. That's what
You know
it
they
says.
smoke already.
African Giant. What did you guys
number
think?
one album, bro.
It's nice. It's really good.
It made the charts.
Yes.
Although
Number
it was
what?
like 104.
Oh, okay.
But it
That's
still made the
impressive.
charts.
That's good,
It was
right?
better than Sounds of from the other
Sounds from the other
side.
side was
Yeah.
107 though. So what's the difference? 3
No,
spots.
but I'm saying it was better. I'm saying that the album was better.
I think in general
As far as
it was.
as far as
I don't want to make this about Wiz because
I
it's
know.
about Burner.
Okay,
But
fair.
in the two the albums represented two different things.
True.
And I like the two people. They're my number one and two. I've always said it. I've always given my list. I'll keep giving it, and I've never told a lie. There were 3 people on that list. One person was going to swap positions, and one person was going to drop down. And we know who's dropped to number 3. We know who's number 1 now. Well, number 1 is Burner. Number 2 is still Wiz, and number 3 is Davido. The rest of the list, I will get to that later. I always put techno in the top 5. Everybody
Yeah.
keeps clowning me for putting
We'll get to
techno.
that. We're
but
gonna
I'll
have
tell
a very
you why you guys
robust-
don't understand why
we're
techno's in there.
gonna have a
But
robust conversation.
Let's
about
talk
it.
about these 2 albums real quick because we didn't obviously when do this album when Sounds of the when do this podcast when Sounds from the Other Side came out.
Yeah.
But the 2 things these 2 people have done that I like is their albums represent the titles of the album represents the content in the album.
Yeah.
Wiz did an album called Sounds from the Other Side, which was a sound from the other side.
Yeah.
Which when everybody heard the song with Beyonce, Brown Skin Girl, they all started jizzing in their pants like, oh my God, where's this Star Boy? But that Star Boy was all over Sounds from the Other Side. That was him. That's literally the sound he had on that album. Burner, this was not supposed to be his album.
It wasn't.
No, this is not supposed to be his album. It wasn't supposed to drop this album, but the Coachella thing happened. So he decided to
And that
do
was when it's probably the African Giant.
Giants. And Burner
yeah,
decided to
I
do
got
an
that story.
African Giant song. So Sound from the Other Side was, I'm trying to introduce you guys to the sounds that we're bringing, but in a way where they kind of can relate to it. that's kind of like the way I say the bands them and set up the groundwork. That's kind of like introducing people into Afrobeat, but in a little watered down, in your way, like brown skin girl kind of way thing, and one dance and stuff like that. So you guys now understand, you're seeing that he laid the ground. Then Burna has come and say, you know what, bro, thank you. Now I'm going to show them that there's a giant in Africa, and I'm going to then show you guys the original. So like Wiz's next album does not have to be watered down. And let's talk about this. We talk about number 3. Number 3, Davido dropped a song with Chris Brown.
Yes.
That categorizes under sounds from the other side kind of thing. It's an Afrobeat-ish song.
Yeah.
But it's a pop song.
Yeah, it's pop. Yeah.
Do you understand? The only problem is that the only slack he's facing is because I think he's doing this too late. If he did this when Wizzy did, Lil Wayne did sound from the other side, I think this would be good, because now it's like we've passed that watering down Afrobeat level. Because Burna unfortunately came with the original sound. It's not watered down. It's who I am. This is who we are, and everybody's fucking with it.
He's
so it's like
the floodgates now.
If I wish the video dropped the song when Wizkid dropped sound from the other side, because we could have compared them together and loved them together.
I mean, we could have
but
both.
Unfortunately, he's getting slack, and he got slack from me too, because not that the song is growing on me, but I've listened to the video Blow My Mind.
I'm really tired of it.
Yes, but it's a radio song, and unfortunately, like the effect of, I feel like, I don't want to say it was too late for him. It's always a good move when we have this thing. We'll get back to Burna's album. It's always a good move, but I feel like Burna has spoilt the market. Like Burna Boy has made it hard. He's made it where even if Wizkid should come out with sound on the other side today, I'll criticize it, because I'm like, guy, look at what Burna is doing now. Just like, because he's made it where it's like he's kept himself with the original sounds, that the African sound, and people are fucking with it. So it's like, okay, we've passed that stage of watering down and trying to do collabs to get people to know who we are, because now they know who we are. And the song Blow My Mind was normally when we see it, I was more excited for when I heard the song he had with Meek Mill. Free Me? I said, no, was it? No, I forgot the song. Davido had Meek Mill. Whatever that song.
The one that he was eating in.
Yeah. I was more excited for that collab, because that was like, oh shit, we have a Nigerian artist with Meek. But then along the years, we've had so many of these collabs. So like, I wasn't excited to see a Davido, I wasn't excited to see Chris Brown on an Afrobeat song per se. So that already lost me there.
Exactly, we've seen
it. We've already seen it exactly. It took Wizkid on tour somewhere. It's done. So that lost me there. Then the song itself then came up as a generic radio-ish worldy kind of song. So that again threw me off.
I didn't really like the song initially.
And the song,
but it's a good song.
The song was written by World.
It was written by World. It's obvious. Anybody who's listened to World can tell from. In fact, the video confirmed that it was on the intro, but I'm sure he wrote the whole song. But it was like, so that threw me off again. So it was not a bad song. I think the song came out at the wrong time, because then it came out the same time Burna's dropping his album, and shortly after the Beyoncé, Afrobeat album. So it's like we now have so much content to compare it with. And Burna's, like I said, he's just made it very hard for the rest of them. It's like, bro, I didn't change anything from me. All his features were organic. Everybody on like the song with what's that guy from LA now? YG. I love that song, man. That's so like YG's flow didn't feel forced.
So let's get into the album.
It's the best album. It's the best. God, like so everybody says,
it's so good.
I posted on the
I'm still not tired of it.
Everybody's like, oh yeah, you're a super Burna fan. I'm like, you guys listen to music. Like, I understand. There's it's hard because there's a trend now. Burna has fans now. I told this same Burna Boy, I have videos that I went to the show 3 years ago, and it was half empty. It was me and two of my guys that are also huge Burna fans, and it was half empty. And now the same venue, he's back. He came back last year that we went for. Was it last year or this year? It was this year that we went. He's coming back again, and there was no space for us to stand. So what that I said is
he's come a long way.
It's come a long way to this market, and
come back in the fall.
Because of that, a lot of people then believe he's overhyped now at this point.
Really?
Some people believe he went from. So people are saying, "And the album is, bro, that album is fire." Like, I'm not even talking about me being
Every
a Burna Boy
track,
stan.
every
But that
track.
album, I've listened to the album like 50 times back
Every
to
track
back.
is a banger.
Bro, that album it's like the way he composed it. I even like the fact that Killing Them, they remastered it, made it sound better in the car, made it sound better. Like I heard it the first time, I was like, yo,
I'm
what the
still
fuck is the
not tired
difference?
of Killing Them.
And that's the thing, is like people who I'm glad for people who notice that there's a change in that track, because I tell that you're listening to the song and not just riding a wave of Burner, you know. So like people can tell the subtle change. You can hear that this song is, these strings are different. This thing is different from the song, and it was well engineered for the album. I like the album from beginning to the end, and like you're seeing so many people that are like non-Nigerians repping. Like I saw recently a Liverpool player put out a playlist he listens to before he plays a match. Number one on the list was Collateral Damage, the one we just played now. And that's the thing, is they're not picking, they're not even picking the popular ones as because popular songs get forced on you. You can know an If, you can know a Come Closer, you can know all these songs because they are popular. But like when you actually are starting to pick
the
albums, and then like I don't need Joe Budden's validation, but I told you I don't know what I was saying one day about when Joe Budden validated Sounds from the Other Side. You can tell that guy listens to content. He doesn't just
he
go
does.
off. He listens to content. And he did the same thing. And he said, Burna Boy, unfortunately, Nigerians in the States, ridiculous can mean good, and it can mean like it's a slang. But when he said he was like, if no one has told you Burna Boy's album is ridiculous. But unfortunately, people took the literal definition of ridiculous. As like one guy started to abuse him and stuff like that.
You should explain it for people. But for people that are wondering what we're talking about, Joe Budden tweeted something about.
If you haven't listened to Burna's album, if someone hasn't told you right now, Burna's album is ridiculous.
So that's
no. But I don't blame them.
But then some Nigerians
in the context of we live in the States. We've been here for a very, very, very long time. Okay. So in the context of seeing ridiculous, we understand that ridiculous can be a good thing.
But did you not hear the beginning?
But we should tell them what happened. So he put out that tweet, and someone responded.
And someone started responding about how Burna is more valuable than you in your own country.
Yeah, pretty much. He thought he was saying
the album was dissing the album. And even when like he came out to say, ridiculous, it meant good. I still saw like people on like these blogs pulling off the literal definition of ridiculous when it means mockery and stuff like that. Like, no, when did they change the definition? And I'm like, you guys need to. We're not very open-minded. Like, someone just told you that he meant something they're good with it. Some people were like, oh, he's trying to cover up and stuff like that. But I understand it's a culture shift. And he likes to be controversial too, so maybe he intentionally used that word. But it's a culture shift, and I understand. But I don't like the fact that they're not willing to even learn after the fact of that guy saying, look, I didn't mean it ridiculous in a bad way. It's a slang out here that means something good, but we digress. It's a good album. I'm yet to find one person say it's a bad album. I found people say it's okay, it is, but I'm like, you guys are not really listening to this.
Some people think it's a bad album.
Some people think he's overrated.
Let me ask you something.
What's bad about
so what
it?
Are you? No, I think what I've heard is that they feel like his sound is a bit repetitive. I've heard that where they feel like his sound kind of like all his songs sound the same. But I think that's for the untrained ear. And that's the difference.
Yes,
I know the difference.
That's what I'm saying, because these people, and that's why I got mad when people were telling when Brown Skin Girl came out and everybody was on Wizkid's dick talking about where's this Wizkid, and I'm like, bro, did you guys listen to Sounds from the Other Side? This is the same flow and melody, but the problem is the ear that is listening to this is the ear that wants to listen to Soapy.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to Soapy and you want to dance and you want to do that, there's no way you're going to hear good content and fuck with it. Yeah, it's like a way where if you don't listen to hip hop or rap or R&B and stuff like, if someone starts playing you an R&B track, you'll be like, what's this? If someone starts playing you a Gunna track, you might be like, guy, what's this? Do you understand?
You're gonna think this.
Gunna is even different because Gunna even has melodies. If I play your Ross track, I'm a big Ross fan. But if I play your Ross track and you don't really fuck with Ross or like I like Young Jeezy, those kind of guys. When you hear their albums, you're like, what's this? You're not gonna go checking for it.
So let me ask you something. What's your favorite song? What are your favorite songs on the album?
I like Another Story. I like Collateral Damage. I like Pull Up. I like the one with Georgia Smith. Speaking of Georgia Smith, discovered her. I didn't know who she was until 2 years ago when we went for Made in America.
I think she's one of Drake's exes.
And I think so. I think Drake tried to holler at it. But I think what happened was, and this is how funny how things were. I mean, not for me, not for her, but
He made a song about
I got to know her through Wizkid not showing up at Made in America because I went there. It was supposed to be Malik Berry and then Wizkid. So Malik before Wiz. So I went there for the Malik time. And because Wiz didn't show, they pushed her down to Malik's time and then pushed Malik down to Wizkid's time. So I ended up staying for her set and I was like, who's this? And I was like, oh shit, she's actually not bad. Georgia Smith, Jorja Smith, and she's not bad.
She reminds me of Rihanna.
She's not bad.
The sound of her voice is
she's
very
not
similar
bad.
to Rihanna.
This was 2 years ago, I think, and she's been growing since then. And they actually have a reverse song where she features him. But I like that song.
Dope
I like
songs.
the one with Angelique Kidjo. Is it Kidjo?
Oh, yeah.
See, that's the only one that hasn't fully grown on
With
me
Damian
yet.
Mali. What's the name of the song?
That's the only one that has
Something
it's called
different.
Different.
Yeah.
That's the only one that hasn't fully grown on me
One
yet.
with YG, I like that.
How about
The one with
the
Future is
Serrani
alright.
joint?
Serrani joint, that's the best song. Like Serrani,
know.
like when they say someone is a crooner, that's
Wait,
it.
hold
I
on.
love that.
That's what you
So
mean.
I want to play
It's your boy.
a quick,
That's what they mean, man. Like when they say someone is a crooner.
as in he killed this song.
Yo, Serrani.
I love that voice.
Hey, can you keep a secret for a long, long time? When you're awake, you're sleeping. Say my name no time. I know you want to keep up. Maybe you're bad, I got my one. So yeah, I like that song. I like I want Omo.
I like
Omotola, Otedola. Yeah, I like that song. So like, bro, the album is
It's hot.
it's
was a
and I don't want to
solid
keep
album.
bigging up, Wiz, but
album.
like that was the last person's album that I think I was able to listen to from beginning to end. That's
Solid album.
I love that. But this one's taking the cake.
So what did you think about the recent interviews he did?
First of
Which one
all,
did you see?
First of all,
All right. The
first of
first
all,
one
when I be saying my
Breakfast
shit,
Breakfast Club
you guys need to
was
listen.
abysmal.
Did I not tell you guys
Breakfast
that
Club.
Burna Boy's mother takes his awards for him? Everybody's looking like, oh, why does she do that? That's this. He doesn't like it. Breakfast Club was cringe-worthy.
Yes.
Because Breakfast Club interview 2 is always a hit or miss because
Well,
you have 3 different personalities you're dealing
dynamics,
with.
right?
Yeah.
And the problem is this: some people go there worry about Charlemagne
Right.
Yeah.
and try to outdo Charlemagne and say, hey, I don't want Charlemagne to clown me.
Right.
And then you end up having like interviews like the are y'all done, are y'all finished? Or
Yeah.
what's that
What's it?
baby.
Baby.
You end up having stuff like that. And some people go in there and are ready to embrace it. Now, Charlemagne is a little iffy because you can tell when he likes you and when he doesn't
Right.
like you or when he doesn't
Right.
care about you.
Right.
Obviously,
I think he doesn't know him.
he doesn't know him,
Right,
but
doesn't
he
know
knows
anything.
Afrobeat is a thing. It's a
So
big
he's
thing. So
trying
it's
to
kind of
learn
like
about it too,
learn
Afrobeat.
about it. But obviously, he's a little still oblivious to some things.
But I feel like the Davido one was
Then you have
better though.
the Davido one wasn't because he was only talking about the guy's father's money.
Well,
That's all he was talking about. It was like your dad's money.
Here's my
True,
take on it.
true.
I think
also
I think
Burna
when
Boy too. If he doesn't, I feel like we
I
saw
feel
the
like
difference.
if he doesn't really respect you or like
yeah,
you,
he won't. Be
Yeah,
right.
but
he liked
not
Trevor.
But no. But that's the difference. So let's put it this
Yeah,
way. Why?
but
So
Burna Boy also went
So he didn't
on-
only do. He only
on
did. He
the
also
Daily
did
Show,
sway.
on the Trevor
He also
Noah
did
Daily
sway.
Show.
He did sway.
Oh,
He
I
did.
haven't
Yes,
seen
he
this
did.
one.
the Sway interview wasn't that bad.
Yeah, he did.
haven't seen that
Ebro. So he did. He's done a lot. I've seen all of them. But
And they
you
were
see,
all better than the Breakfast Club.
yes, they were better than
Breakfast
the
Club.
Breakfast Club,
That
and
was
that's what I was saying. So you have,
worst.
so you have the Breakfast Club. So you have Charlemagne who's doing his thing. Angela Yee is always just. She's
I
never
feel like
really.
she tries to bring it all back.
She tries sometimes,
Yeah.
but sometimes she's just there. But you have Envy who
Doesn't do anything.
Doesn't
He
do anything.
ask
But
questions.
Envy was trying to get involved because he's a DJ. He's an
Right,
actual
right,
DJ.
right.
So he was trying to talk about like the interview wasn't really. It was a
Wasn't
short
cohesive,
interview.
right.
They really hadn't done much of their research because even when Envy was talking about Africa, it was mostly about the southern part of
Yeah.
Africa and stuff like that. Which I understand. You want to say, but he said he's been to Nigeria before. But I understand you want to say it goes to Africa a lot. It's fine, but like it's the difference. Ghana is different from Nigeria. It's different. So like the whole piece, I felt like
It was just
it wasn't.
jointed,
The video
yeah.
zone wasn't even. There was nothing that came out of it. Same thing I feel with this one too. Nothing came out of it. Surprisingly, Wiz has done one before, but they never posted it, or he never.
He did a Breakfast Club interview.
Supposedly, they said someone has told me somewhere before that he's actually done one before years ago, but for whatever reason it didn't come out, or he didn't approve it, or something went wrong. I don't know, but I've never seen it. Well, maybe or maybe it was supposed to do it, it didn't go. But I'm yet to see things come out of it. Like I see when they interview Michael Blackson and the likes, those contacts actually come out of it.
Right.
But you can't blame Burna too and the video and the rest of them, because this is also a different quality in interviews than where we're used to, where we're coming from. Where we're coming from, they're the mega stars. So it's like we're happy. We're happy you're in our presence.
Right.
The video was in a interview one time in a station, and you couldn't really sit down. Like it was packed with like 100 people inside there. You know, and because everybody probably wanted to be with him, take a picture and stuff like that, you know. So when you're in a situation like that, you're more relaxed, you're more commanding. You know that everything you say, you know, they want to hear.
Yeah.
With this one, he's not really taking charge. Now, Trevor is a fellow African, who's come up from Africa,
and knows
not
him.
Born in the States, and has
but also knows
seen knows him, but knows Burna.
Too, right?
Yes, so he knows the culture.
The interview flow.
Yeah, he knows the culture. He knows
it was a very short interview.
Yeah,
it was a short.
That's another thing.
It was a short interview,
but Trevor.
But it went to the point. Even the story. The story they rehearsed. Even the story, you can tell they rehearsed the story. They rehearsed the story because he was like, well, let me just quickly put it out there. And I was like, yo, let me stop you. I have to tell a story. There's even a clip of them talking about it in the backstage before it came out. Yeah, I'd seen that before the clip. So like but Trevor knows the struggle coming from Africa. Now he has his own platform, and he's seen a fellow African do it.
And I guess he's in a better position to package an African.
Yes, and then not only are you then you're putting him to perform.
Someone like Charlemagne that's just gonna.
Charlemagne is doing it because Burna's Apple is trying to promote Burna's album because they need him to go everywhere. So Charlemagne is like, yo, do this and do that. So they're doing it.
So this promo run is on because he's been on a lot. He's been on Jimmy Kimmel too. He's
GQ,
been everywhere. Like they
the promo.
And I'm so now this is where what I want to know. What is his connect?
Let me explain the promo.
The label though.
No.
Doesn't the label
the promo.
Because he's still kind of like an independent artist in a way.
So Apple has a thing called Up Next. They used to call it something before, but it's called Up Next. So what happens is they select an artist every month. Once a month, and you get to be their featured artist. They put you on billboards, they put you in Times Square,
and they've done it for Mr. Easy too, right?
Yes, they put you on. They put you in They create a playlist for you with sounds that sound similar to like your vibe. So they give you.
But what are they getting out of it?
Hold on, it's Apple. So Apple's the music director, who actually at this point went over to Spotify, but she started some lady, I forgot her name. I wish I knew her name. She started this like 2 years ago. Yeah. So it was a thing to just get new artists. They've done it for Megan Thee Stallion. They've done it for what's that guy that's dating Wizkid's ex? What's his name?
Wizkid's ex.
Justin
Sky.
Yeah, the guy dating Justin Sky.
No,
the one that has a song with Malik.
Gold Link.
Gold Link, yeah.
He's dating Justin Sky.
Yeah, dating Justin. She's even on the cover of his album now.
Oh, that was her. That was her.
Yeah. So he was, I think, the last one of the ones before, because remember that him and Malik performed at Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
So the deal that comes with it is they promote you for a month.
Yeah.
And then you get to perform at a late night show. It used to be
James
Corden, the British guy, or something like that. Late night show recording. But I think last year they switched it up to Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay.
So you get to perform.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's once a month. So they pick.
Wow.
So now tell me, what are they getting out of it?
Now, what are they getting? I don't know.
Like there has to be some kind of
Apple. I don't know.
There has to be a deal now.
But they pick the artist, and it could be established. Well, not super established, but not a. It doesn't have to be a new artist. They can pick, people like that. So they decide.
But it's a big look for you.
It's a big look for you. And then the thing is that
they probably get paid by the label.
You get lucky when they do it when you have an album coming out, because then they promote the album. In the terms of Easy, I think it was when he also had his album, because it's easy to perform on Kimmel or something like that. Yeah. So that's what they give that to you as a package.
Interesting.
So like as soon as I saw him do the Up Next, I was already saying that this guy has an interview coming up with Kimmel somewhere, and then they finally did it the day before the album dropped. And the humility in Burna, and that's why I said sometimes I don't blame this culture shock people, is that Burna goes, he didn't even know how big doing a show on Kimmel was like he just kind of shrugged it off and said cool until like after the show aired and he was getting some kind of phone calls that he was like
really?
what's going on here? He didn't know how big, and you can't blame them because a Nigerian.
I love that. I love it because it allows him to be
yes. So a Nigerian in Nigeria does not know how big him having. They believe a Nigerian in Nigeria believes him being on Breakfast Club might be bigger because they know more of Breakfast Club due to Charlemagne and just it's being popular.
But night
you don't know, and I stayed up. I watched the thing live and I liked it. So like it opens doors.
Yeah.
So shout out to Apple for that.
I have to say the one thing I've gotten from Burna from this whole experience is that I like that he has managed to stay grounded in a way.
Yeah, so you can be his mom, you can put
because
to
over like he got the award at the BET, and even when he goes into these interviews, you could tell he's not trying to be something. He's not.
It's not. A lot of times he'll tell you I can't really talk about this, so I don't really know.
I'm not saying anything. Yeah. As opposed to where like you see other artists that they try
too hard. Yeah. I don't know. I can't speak about this. It's not a problem. It's a smart move
for an artist like that.
So yeah, you can tell sometimes he doesn't really like to talk.
Yeah.
So it's
he can be shy.
It can be shy too sometimes. So it's like, but he's doing what he has to do, and even like his mom is playing a huge part too, because even him saying like stuff like the Beyonce track, like it was his mom that just told him, hey, like he never spoke to Beyonce and everything. His mom said, hey, they want you on the album, and like you can tell he's starting to learn how some of these things are big.
Yeah. Charlemagne presented that question like as if he should be like, oh, ecstatic.
Yes, but
like,
and that's the.
He didn't even know, right? He said,
it's like I don't really, and like we celebrate that better. We were as fans, we celebrate that like, oh, it's huge, but at the same time too,
it won't get to his head.
And that's why I don't want to mention names, but that's why some of the others, not just one person, but the others, a lot of them, this thing start to get to them, and it's not organic. They start to. It's not. I'm not even mentioning the top guys now. Even some of the underneath guys too. They start to believe in this hype, and the hype kills.
Let's talk about it.
The hype kills.
It kills. Now.
I don't want to drop names, but the hype kills. Some features. Some people pay hundreds of thousands for features, and then they start acting like it was the most organic thing ever. Like, oh, this and that. I think we
all know who he's talking about.
I'm just saying, like you take it.
But let's move on.
No, I like the. But one thing I would tell you is like, look, I'm the biggest Wiz fan, but Burner is number one, and right now is the hardest. Touch the screen. Is the hardest right now, and the thing about
Burner number one,
Wiz is number two, and Davido number three. Number four is Techno, and I tell you why I say number four is Techno. Techno is not number four in terms of music, because if we're going to base it in terms of,
we're talking about artists.
No. Okay,
we're talking about artists.
If we're talking about hottest right now,
Techno has been dropping songs.
We're going to be putting the likes of Naira Marley and Zlatan ahead of Davido right now. If we're talking about Zlatan, because they're hotter than Davido right now in terms of the songs that have come out, and Wiz is the killing features.
Well, on an international scale,
so we're talking about international scale. So on international scale,
I would even put Mr. Easy before Techno right now.
So on the international scale, it's Burner, Wiz, Davido. 4 and 5 is that was my top 5 then. It was Easy, and I put Easy behind Olamide, but we're just talking about complete package. But if we're talking based on international, Easy and Techno go ahead. Now I can put Easy ahead of Techno because Techno. No, you know why? Like
internationally,
because like you guys,
people know to want more here.
It's not about. This is how I see it.
Yeah.
When you want to make an Afrobeat song, there's some certain names that come to your head. Wizkid comes to your head.
Yeah,
Burner is going to start coming to your head right now.
Davido
will come to your head, as they call him, Davido.
I think T.Y. is up there too.
As well.
You know why?
I don't think Techno.
I
think maybe production wise.
Yes, production wise.
Okay. So let's put it like this.
No.
Techno has not dropped any song.
He's dropped a lot of songs
that makes sense. That makes sense in Nigeria, but he was on the Beyonce album.
He was
right.
Exactly. Techno has not sold.
I want to talk about the Beyonce album.
Techno has not sold out any shows that I know of per se. Like he's done their yearly One Africa and stuff like that, but he hasn't really done any like main groundbreaking shows. But it was on the Beyonce's album. Sway Lee dropped the song with Drake yesterday, produced by Techno. Techno influence is like how I don't know how to use a person here. It's like them Neo and The Dream back in the days. As an artist, you maybe in terms of records, you won't put the Dream in your top. Yeah. But as far as
we're talking about
respectable, because people who need hits, Beyonce needs a hit. She's going to go to the Dream first before going to. Well, back then, before going to a Lil Wayne.
Beyonce will go to Tiwa because Tiwa will write a song for her. Techno can't necessarily write a song. Techno
can create
he can create the sound, but
okay, so you're going to
he's not necessarily the greatest songwriter.
I'll give you that one. So I'll give you, okay, so you think Tiwa, what would you say about the one I'm not really a fan of, Yemi Alade? Where will you put her?
Oh no, I'm not a fan.
Where you put her? I'm not. Yo, I swear to God, when I saw that Beyonce's album, I was like,
let's talk about that.
The
Beyonce album. What do you guys think?
Oh Lord,
I love the whole album. I'm starting to even like the other songs now.
The only part I didn't really like was the joint with Kendrick. I feel like it felt a little just.
Yeah, I wasn't too crazy about that one.
Yeah, I just felt like
I'm starting to like the Jay-Z track.
Jay-Z track.
I'm starting to like the
the
Pharrell track.
No, Pharrell. You know the Pharrell one was my water. No, Pharrell one is water. Yeah, that one. No, as they said, water because they had to say it in the African way. But that was a good track. Already was a good track. And
club banger.
But one thing, some of these tracks,
I was surprised the album didn't really chart though. It wasn't really. It didn't really like. It didn't really make for a Beyonce album.
But it's not a Beyonce album per se.
It's supposed to be for
I guess
King
it's a soundtrack.
Yeah,
it's a soundtrack.
It's not an official soundtrack, but it's like a side project. It's like,
and then she didn't really promote the single.
Yeah, she didn't. Yeah, so
she had that one song.
Brown Skin Girl. Well, Brown Skin Girl was. Is not. You know, there's a difference between you promoting a single and fans picking.
She had that one single that she released the video for.
But that one is on the official, I think, soundtrack.
Yeah, it's on the official soundtrack.
Yeah, no, but Brown Skin Girl is not a Beyonce single. It's there's a difference between you dropping singles and fans picking a single for you.
Oh, true.
Fans technically just latched on to Brown Skin Girl, you know. So did they know it was going to be hit? Maybe. Did they not know? Maybe not. But
so who wrote that song again?
Saint John.
Saint John.
Saint John wrote the song, and you know, I watched his interview too about how he got it. I think they called him. He said he wrote the song. He sent it to his mom.
I'm so over those videos that show of people like singing Brown Skin Girl.
Yeah, I'd be over all that.
I'm just like,
I don't want to be a hater.
Cringy.
Why are you a hater?
Even watching all the people, I don't want to be.
People are loving it now. It's a song that validates our skin. What's wrong with it?
Can you keep short?
But let me ask you something. Here's the thing, right? If someone, so let's play this out. If someone released a song talking about white skin girl.
Corey, we're not doing this. I'm not doing this.
How would you know? Sometimes I think about it.
I have to ask myself.
Sometimes I think about it. Even in the brown community, the girls are bleached. Girl, what are you talking about them? The light skin girls. So what are you saying about them? No, not even that. Brown is different from black. So the dark skin girls.
No, I'm brown. I'm dark.
The dark. You see, that's the thing. Everybody is categorizing themselves under it.
You don't think
I thought about it too.
Now.
You know.
Me, I'm brown.
Corey is brown too.
Sand brown.
But you know, not really.
You and I are brown.
But you know,
someone came out with pale skin
or light skin girl. If someone came out with light skin girl,
someone came out with light skin girl.
That is the worst. And that's where I feel like I don't like it. If someone came out with light skin girl,
society though, people favor lighter people. That's why we have to pick up the brown.
Do you see the stupid thing that idiot Tory Lanez went to go and do? Where in his music video, he staged it where he had them bring a light skin girl, then he went to go and kick her out to bring a dark skin girl
to make a statement.
I
don't like that.
That was stupid.
I don't like that.
It was so cringe-worthy when I saw it. Everybody was like, "Oh, Tory Lanez giving him props," and then the model came out and said, "Yo, it was staged." She had to come out and be like, "Yo, yeah, like." They planned it.
I didn't even know she came out.
She came out and said, "Admitted that was staged."
And authentically, sure. Not that you now want to make a statement by force by fire.
And here's the thing:
I don't like that.
Here's the thing: is this? You see, and I give you, and I tell you thing. I always remember this. I think I said it here before. I told you once. It was in years ago. I was in New York for a friend's birthday, and I always say this to like I was in a club that I have no like when it's section where I have no input on who came. Who was there, who was invited. And one of his, like my guy, he lives in Maryland too. We went to New York. One of his friends who lives in New York invited some other people. Now, it turns out like maybe like 2 or 3 of those girls were like Middle Eastern-ish or Lebanese-ish or whatever. They were not
Kim K looking
kind of people. And I'm sitting at the edge of the table, like at the edge. Everybody's inside on my phone, and this one girl has the audacity to walk up to me and tap me and say, "You guys don't like that. I see that you don't like dark skinned girls." I've said it before. I can never forget it. I want to slap her. Like, so why? And that's the problem. Hilarious. Why are you telling me that? If first of all, even if I decide to handpick the people on my table and say everybody on my table has to look this skin tone, that's my fucking business.
It's just preference, right?
It's my preference. So why you carrying a chip on your shoulder saying someone else?
And I think that's the thing.
You're looking at someone else's section saying, "Hey, you guys don't have any dark skinned girls on your section."
No, that's not for you.
Why are you not complaining that we don't have light skinned boys? Because all the guys there were dark.
So you're saying that society in general tends to have a preference for
light skin. You look at Nigeria now. Let's use Nigeria.
Yeah, I understand. So
that's why everyone's running around to bleach now because of it.
But then, are you saying the solution is to then try to overcompensate?
Not overcompensate, but like big up dark skinned girls.
Okay,
too.
so
they don't. You know that.
But you know that. No, okay. So as Beyonce has bigged up dark skinned girls, who's light skinned that sings? That is a good singer.
Georgia Smith.
If Georgia Smith comes out with a light skin, that one they will even not even Georgia Smith. Look at
Rihanna.
Not even Rihanna. Well, look at this girl cuts flack. Yeah. Doja Cat. When she says she dates white boys. That was all she said. She said that. And see Corey's reaction here.
I'm so disappointed.
Doja, she said that.
That's
and
my girl, though. I love her.
Flack. I like Doja. She dropped a new song because people were like, "Oh, this is the girl you guys are always hyping and saying is thick and everything. She don't even like you." And it's like,
I mean, that's her preference, right?
Good for her. Good for her.
Do you understand? She has a preference.
But look at your face when you said that.
Because like, oh man,
because I fuck with Doja Cat.
I like Doja Cat.
I love that she doesn't
give a fuck.
Yeah, I love
artistry, but
but you have so if Doja came out with if she came out with a light skinned girl song, and featured not Drake or featured French Montana, people are gonna trash them.
Oh yeah.
Easily.
Oh, yeah.
But you know why?
They'll get cancelled.
But you guys act like you don't know the reasons.
No, we know the reasons. But what we're saying is that
are we not at a stage where you can keep?
If you really want,
if
you really want everyone to treat everyone equal, you shouldn't treat one group.
This is why I say yes. You shouldn't. You see, there's a stage where
I think that's
a stage where minority becomes majority, and at that point.
But until then,
what's until then? Everybody has started making this statement of dark skinned girls. Everybody's putting dark skinned girls in their video.
But it's still not as reflective, though.
How is it not reflective?
It's not
How many music videos do you watch? Music videos.
Ads. I'm saying that's what matters. You know.
So then create your own brands that can do the screen again. I don't create your own brands. Why are you waiting for? Why are you waiting for? Why are you waiting for? Why are you waiting for somebody else to do this? Go create your own. Go create your own. Go create your own brand. Go support your own movement. Nobody's going to stop you.
And they are doing
that.
But
why should I be? If I can sing brown skin girl at the top of my voice, and then somebody drops light skin guy or light skin girl, I should be able to sing the same. So if it's nice,
yes, you should be able to. But
I'm not criticizing and say this guy.
So can I ask something? Since we're talking about brown skin girl. Do you think Lupita is beautiful?
Oh my gosh.
So we had this argument, and so I didn't know Lupita. People are probably knew her from some sugar show or something like that. Back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
This is years ago. Years ago. So I heard
it was supposed to be highlighting the plight of Asian Africa or something like that. Yeah.
Lupita is not ugly to me, but Lupita seems to me like their poster child for Black beauty. And to me it's a little funny because there's a look that white people call beauty when it comes to Black people. Is this whole low cut, she's dark skin, like black, like when I see some of these people are like, oh, she's beautiful model. I'm like, that person really isn't. Like, she's just black and has low cut. There's this African look. Lupita has that African look. And that African look does not mean she's ugly, but it's not a poster child look. Like, an African can range from a Lupita to a Kim K. In skin color. Do you understand? So
I noticed that.
You understand?
But
they push this natural, quote unquote, natural.
But majority of Africans look like me and her.
That's true.
You can say it depends on what part of Africa you're talking about, though.
Majority of Africa integrating. Majority of Africa even.
We shouldn't
except
shame,
for like the northern
we shouldn't
parts.
Shame, but we should. But she shouldn't be like. She's not my poster child for what an African beautiful African woman looks like. She's
okay.
not ugly, but it seems like it's the name everybody drops. Like I'm not surprised Beyonce dropped that name.
It's almost like you feel like she is being used as like a prop almost.
Let me put this thing for you. When you see, and no offense to anybody who's in this situation, but when you see a lot of white boys date African girls, you know they look a certain look. You know what I'm saying? They look a certain look.
It's always like very,
very that
natural,
look.
yeah.
Yes, that look. And because that's to them, that's the ideal African image. And that's fine. You can feel that, but I don't feel that's the poster child of
what an
African girl looks like. I'm not saying she's ugly or they're ugly, but it's a look that you guys are subconsciously pushing.
Look, when
it's a look.
Of Africans do look like her, though.
Nope.
I mean, I'm thinking about it.
If you look in Nigeria, we all mostly look like that.
Nope. There's a wide range.
I don't know, but I'll be honest
she's not
with you.
Ugly.
I'll be honest with you though. When I
she looks good, but it just feels like it's the easiest name drop.
You feel like it's like forced.
I feel like it's forced. Yes,
and it's almost like they're trying to convince.
I feel like everybody that this is the most beautiful thing. Yes, and it's not a problem. But then guess what? You're isolating. You see, we have a thing in this society where we try to equalize things, but we don't forget that rather than lift things together, we're subtracting from one to get to the other.
So we do it all the time. We do it all the time.
It's every situation.
Even with this brown skin girl song,
we're subtracting. Not brown. Even feminism. We're subtracting from men.
No, you're not.
We're trying to say in equality. We're saying women are here, and we're trying to raise men or women. I mean, men are here. We claim men. We say men are here and women are here. We're trying to raise them up to here. But then, in what we're actually trying to do is we're trying to pull men down.
Nobody is pulling man down. But okay.
No, we can
get to that
later.
But that's unfortunately that's how people translate some of these things.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you the name. So I'll show you now. So the people don't necessarily understand that we can bring.
Oh,
Lupita is beautiful to you. That's fine.
But before, I think Lupita is gorgeous.
I didn't say she was ugly.
Going through her pictures again, but then again, it's also a matter of
beauty
preference.
Beauty is in the eye of
You're
the
like beauty in the eye.
Would I go
beauty is in the eye
if I see a Lupita
beholder.
and I say Justin Sky, I'm going to get pregnant for Justin Sky. That's my preference.
Now, I think I'll go for Lupita.
I'll go for Justin Sky.
Assuming I was not engaged, of course.
Yeah, I'm just saying if in an alternate universe you had to pick between. You said Lupita, and I said I'll go for Justin Sky. It's all preference.
I'll take both.
So if both,
I can't have both.
It's all you have to pick one.
I like your shirt. Is that Albert Einstein on it? That's a pretty cool shirt.
So that's just me, my preference. I was just like, she's not. I never said she was ugly.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I know. I know where you're coming from, and I kind of get where you're coming from.
First track,
but it's hard to because when I look at.
It's also an easy name to drop. The first one. It's also an easy name to drop.
That's the only person they know.
Yes, it's an easy name to drop. And here's the thing: Lupita is natural. She's dark skinned. She's low cut. Like it just fits the portfolio of what you're trying to say. You know, Africans are natural. It's perfect. But I'm like, she's not my poster child.
Yeah, but before we go on break, I want to touch on this one. There was a death in the African music industry.
R.I.P. DJ Arafat. Yeah.
How old was he?
I don't know how old he was.
Wasn't he? He was young.
No, I don't know how old he was.
Really,
but
really
I know
unfortunate.
before I even.
So what exactly happened?
I'll give a shout out to Jay Martins because Jay Martins was the one that made me know who DJ Arafat was.
He's 30. He's 33. He's 1986.
Wow.
Yeah, he made me know who the guy was because they had a song.
33.
They had a couple songs together. Look, see if you can. Let me even so you can play one of them.
But okay.
So for those that don't know, he's DJ Arafat.
He's from Ivory Coast, I think.
Yeah.
When I say I'm against bikes
from
and
Ivory
all that,
Coast,
like,
play this song.
Did you see the video of actually somebody recorded?
Yeah, the first one. Yeah,
somebody recorded him as he was doing the tricks on the bike before he died.
Really?
Oh, you didn't see it?
I didn't see it.
You know how I see this thing. When it's your time, it's your time. I saw a foolish Nigerian that was saying, "He caused his death." Nigga, fuck out of here, man. You can be. God forbid we can be recording the studio now. Something can happen. You know, God forbid, but
I feel like that's why I'm against bikes. Yeah,
but this is a song. This was a huge song in Nigeria one time. Arafat and Dear Martins.
It's an unfortunate thing, but it could have been prevented. That's my thing. And also, African infrastructure did not help him either because they were just sending him, finding him. Where's the ambulance? Where's 911 to call to take him to the hospital? So it's a lot of contributing factors.
Hold on, turn it up a little further. Yeah, this is like R.I.P. man. Like it was a jam, man, when it came out, man. But you know, so that was when I found out who DJ Arafat was, and I was like, listen to him. Then let me give you one of his songs because, you know, it's also good to do that. But that's how I knew who DJ Arafat was.
So he died riding a motorbike. He got hit,
and
right?
doing tricks. No. He was doing those crazy tricks you see on the highway.
But you know the funny thing is, I don't.
country?
But was anybody? Did anybody record? Did anybody record him? Okay, play the first one. Did anybody record him actually
falling?
Because what if the tricks were done prior and then the accident wasn't about the tricks? What if, you know, I mean, they recorded him doing tricks, but what if he had finished doing the tricks and he was riding normally and he just fell?
Well,
we don't know. Do you understand? We don't know, but you know, this is one of his songs. From Coupé de Calais, that's their
it's like their own
French
sound or something.
You listen to, I think you might have heard it before in like songs. In like, have you heard this song?
I've heard it. And whenever these songs come on, the club
goes
crazy.
Nuts.
Yep.
So
that's when you start seeing the real dancers. You start seeing like the steppers. You know the way they do.
Stop.
By the way, I've already perfected my zanku.
But you see, one thing about music.
It's okay. Thank
one thing about music, and that's why I actually like being in the States, is you get to diversity. I've discovered more about other African countries being here than when I was living in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And like,
but things have changed now.
It's
not as digital as it is now.
Yeah,
you can just go on your computer and get all this.
But music. I like you know, and that's why I give a little shout out to Jay Martins, because like I like when people bridge gaps like that. You know, he went with DJ Arafat doesn't speak English. I think the video also has a song with him.
Yeah, he does.
DJ Arafat doesn't speak English. It's all French. Mm-hmm. So Jay Martins to get a guy who sings French on a Nigerian, you know, kind of song like that, and he hit, you know, like, and then made me go and be like, who's this guy? Do you understand stuff? So and then I discovered this guy is not bad in his language, you know, stuff like that. So, but R.I.P. to the guy, man.
R.I.P. man, rest in peace. Do you want to introduce our next song, Wale?
Yeah, it's for our brother was Nigerian, or he's Nigerian. But
was there a video for this song?
Not yet.
I know there's a video that Jidenna
But it's the
you
Jidenna.
posted it, right?
Yep.
But that was another song. No,
this is called Sufi Woman.
It has a video.
Sufi Woman doesn't have a video yet. Not at the time.
He has one. He has a new video.
He has one as a video. But so side story before we play this. He said, you know, it turns out Jidenna actually went to live in Africa for like
Nigeria.
Just now.
I don't know. No. He went recently. He went to live there for like 2 years.
Oh, you mean recently?
And
because I know he was there as a kid.
I don't think he was in Nigeria. I forgot the country, but he had a situation where he was in Atlanta in Georgia. They had rented a house, and the house was actually foreclosed. And the owner didn't tell them. He collected money and rented it. And one day, early in the morning, some white guys with cops come to evict him from the house. And, you know, with papers saying, hey, man, get the fuck out because you're not supposed to be here. So that experience, I think, made him... I think him and his team, they said they moved to Africa. I'm saying Africa because I can't remember the country.
So it wasn't Nigeria?
I'm not 100% sure if it was Nigeria, but they moved to somewhere for... I think a year or two, a while actually, and he came back with this project.
Okay, so what's the name of the album?
The album is not yet out, but he dropped like 2 or 3 songs.
Okay, so this one's called Sufi Woman.
I tried to Google it. It came out. This one's called Sufi Woman. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go on.
You have to. All right, so yeah, that's Sufi Woman. So the album is actually an album. It's called 85 to Africa.
85 to Africa,
right?
They
kind of took in the state 85 all the way to Africa after they evicted him.
Hold on, I was going to play one quick clip. Have you guys heard this?
Oh yeah, I heard this guy now.
I'm not area boy. Yes. So I want to invite anybody. No, I just cause you hush puppy. Don't want me by hush puppy.
Have you seen this?
Yeah, I've seen
No,
it.
you see.
I'm going to eat him today. So what I'm basically saying is, having some delicious.
You know what's funny?
To my abode. The address is on the screen. Come on down and have a delicious salad with me, okay? All right. But yara brain. Fights you to my house. You know, it's one person, one piece of meat. Because you share the meat in it. Makes sense here.
Yo, for those that don't know, that's the same person.
Yes,
that's the same person. Yo, that switch-up was just too hilarious. His name is Westy. He calls himself Westy Baba.
Somebody was like, the guy all of a sudden just looked more handsome when he switched to British accent.
Which is terrible. Why can't we embrace our own accents and all that?
Like
that's hilarious.
So yeah, do you want to talk about that guy who they just caught for 419?
I want to get into that, but before I get into that, I want to start doing this like midway because I feel like doing it at the end is not the best thing. But just for those that are wondering where you can get all these songs, you can get these songs. We have a Spotify playlist. It's called the Smiling Suffer playlist. Go on there. You're gonna find all these songs on there. In addition, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, smiling_sufferer, on Facebook, Smiling Sufferer. Search for us. And we're on Twitter at SmilingPod. That's SMILINGPOD. All right, so let's get back to the show.
Oh, you can just pay me and I'll create playlist for you, man. If the price is good, I got you.
All right, so you guys heard about this Invictus Obi guy?
Kind of. Please fill us in for us
Okay, so is this guy that made the Forbes
30
list under 30
Oh, wow.
It was Forbes Africa though. When I initially I thought it was Forbes. I was like, how did they miss
Africa.
that?
No, Forbes Africa guy, they do it. Let me talk.
So they didn't do it. They didn't
They
vet
made
him.
Forbes. Okay.
Not just
continue.
Basically, he's he got caught by the FBI.
They've been tracing it for a while.
He got caught for $12 million
Wire fraud.
Damn.
Hacked into someone's Office 365 account.
Yeah.
And they
What?
got the details there, some company. But they think they're chasing it for a while.
So, but what did he get on Forbes for?
So he has first of all, like I feel like first 30 under 30, isn't it supposed to be like once a year?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've seen like 6,000 people on that 30 under 30, but maybe just me hating, but I've seen so many people but anyways,
so he was on
Forbes had him on the cover with the lady,
Oh,
but
damn,
I'm
even
glad
on the cover.
I'm glad people are like, when that picture circulated, people have been at least
Taking
putting
her
an
pictures.
emoji over her face because she has nothing to do with this.
Right.
But I think it was him and this lady on the cover, and he supposedly had a company, like oil company. I'm not too sure, investment
And
company.
they
But he
didn't do their
supposedly has
background
a
check
lot
on
of.
him?
It's Forbes Africa. I'm not really sure
That's not an excuse.
how
but
much
okay.
background.
They did.
Even Forbes, you do know that Escobar was on Forbes list.
Well.
No, but it wasn't on Forbes as a legit.
But Escobar was on
business,
Forbes list, and then they questioned where his money came from as
so
a
this
billionaire.
one-
Yeah.
Oh
he was on Forbes
Before
list, yes.
before he was
Escobar was at the
because he
White
was a
House
politician.
outside.
He was a politician in Colombia.
But so Escobar was on the list, but I don't know if it was that article or some article after that then started questioning
His
legitimacy.
Okay.
So,
All right, so this guy.
it's also easy to fraud and pad. If I can pad things well, I think and you're a fraudster, you can probably make it.
Packaging.
You can package it. But this guy is, I'm back to my favorite word. He's an idiot.
Okay, so what? So he hacked into someone's computer.
So I don't know the 100% story, but about how he got caught. But I know he had to do with Office 365 account, and I think it's a company, and I think he was wiring money.
I
himself.
think I have it here. During the period of
It's been a
unauthorized
year,
access, activity logs show that the intruder created or modified email filter rules for the CFO's account
CFO,
on
can you
7
imagine?
occasions between April 10 and April 17, 2018.
Yeah, so it's been a year.
The rules intercepted legitimate emails to and from employees on the financial team, marked them as read, and moved them to another folder outside the inbox But these rules appear to have been created in an attempt to hide from the CFO any responses from the individuals to whom the intruder was sending fabricated emails. So he was using that guy's email
to get people to send money
to him.
And then any response they send back, I guess, was hiding it.
Believing the wire transfer request had come from the CEO,
Yeah.
Unitrack finance staff processed approximately 15 fraudulent payments between April 11 and April 19, 2018. In some cases, several payments were sent to the same account. For example, the finance staff received and processed 3 invoices to Pac Fay Trade Limited. One for 278,000, one for 898,000.
Can you imagine?
Another one for 1.9 million. Then in total, nearly 11 million was sent, all of which went to overseas account. By the time the fraud was discovered, it was too late to cancel the transfers, and Unitrack was able to recover.
So, how did they now catch him? He came to America and did during.
No, he's been. I think he's been in America for a while.
I
don't
thought
know.
the thing
I don't know. But
said he came down for something and they caught him.
But you mean like how did they physically catch him? Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really
sure.
During his recent trip to the US.
So here's something. I mean, that's why some certain people are staying away from the States.
Yep.
But here's the where I want to address with this thing. And I remember one of my...
Oh, you think that's why a lot... Like, which certain people? What are you talking about?
We're not going to say their names on the podcast. We'll tell you later.
Some certain people avoid the States. Some certain people avoid the States. Some people avoid England. Some people can only go to France and Monaco and all these other places and maybe Dubai, stuff like that. I'm just saying, places.
But why can't we say the name?
Because
it's alleged.
It's not even. It's all alleged. It's all alleged.
And then we'll just say it's alleged.
No, but you see, and that's what I went to address. You don't want to allege on somebody that's not even in trial or in court.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
And it's all rumors.
It's all rumors. You're right.
It's all rumors right now. And they're, because I mentioned Dubai, there are plenty of people in Dubai, so it's not just whoever you think it is. But
of course, we don't want to be caught doing this.
Yeah, why are you snitching on my ass? So, but I'll tell you one thing. When Invictus came out, a lot of people, would respond to the article with God when, oh my God, this is so believable. And people were happy for him. I remember one of my friends kept telling me one time, he asked him about how he wanted to get on 30 under 30.
Yeah.
And it was like, man.
Oh, is there like a process that you go through?
I don't really know this. I really don't care. But
interesting.
It's something, I think I know like one person has been featured on there or two. I don't really, to be honest, it's not like one of my life goals, but to some people it is. And when this came out, I sent him this article and wrote a quote. I always tell him that, guy, run your race. Because what happens is people saw that and started feeling some type of way about themselves and started believing like, see, this guy did it. He's a young guy. He's younger than me. He came up and did this, but it's fraud. We don't know how much fraud is in our environment.
No, we really don't know.
And when Invictus started and somebody probably said, this guy's money looks iffy, a lot of people will have come to abuse that. It's a lie. He has companies worth this and companies worth that. But you look at it's easy for me to come out today and say I have a company of something. You that you know me, like, this guy, where did you get this money from? But you that you don't know me, you can easily believe that. Well, it shows how deep fraud is in our society.
It is.
And we don't know, we assume, and then it also shows how gullible people are to assume that money can be made so easy. That this guy yesterday was a poor guy, and there's stories like that. But we really believe in that Nigeria that it's very possible for you to just overnight, God has blessed you and you're a millionaire,
but that's
billionaire.
Not how things happen,
that's not how there's a process.
Right.
So when people come out from out of the bloom,
the
and like we have this whole, when people come out of the bloom, it's like we start to just say, oh, he has a company, he has a company. Only everybody can own Korea. We can register 10 companies today.
I own.
Do you understand?
Company, technically,
Escobar's company was, I own more than one, but Escobar's company was a taxi company. But Escobar had one taxi. So it was a successful taxi company, whatever the word is, making billions with one taxi. One taxi, so he didn't even bother buying, he just bought one. Do you understand? So, because no one is, but it wasn't until someone started checking his books. And why did they start checking his books? When he went to become a politician. That's the same thing with this idiot. you know you're doing fraud. When Forbes call you, say, excuse me, Victor's, there's no Victor's in this place, so let's hang up. You call again, say, what kind of name is this? But I thought I say, I'll call the FBI if you keep calling me. Do you understand? Don't call my phone.
Isn't
There's
that
no
the name of
Victor's.
a watch?
Yeah, Victor's.
I didn't know that was like a real name. People people's real
Igbo
names.
names. Where you can say God divine intervention. So
wait, you call out?
God divine intervention.
That's someone's name.
Yes.
God's divine intervention.
Guy.
Damn, that's a mouthful.
So you see, but
that should tell people
Victor's,
something though. Just because you see somebody rich, you don't know where their money
Yeah.
is coming from.
Yeah, so you see, so him on it. There are two parts to it. I'm not praising fraud, but himself was stupid. It's like you can't be doing fraud and trying to be in the limelight.
Yeah,
and that was what killed Escobar.
Yeah,
Guy was doing his
Frank
drug
Lucas
empire for
with
years, but he wanted to
That's
be,
it.
but he wanted to be a politician.
Yeah,
he wanted
you
to
do
be
too
president.
much.
He wanted to have power.
You do too
You
much.
do too much, guy.
If I
Lay
was in the money,
low.
you will never know
Lay
anything.
low.
Not that
Nobody
I
should
am,
have
but-
to. Yeah, but that's if I wish we had donkey of the day because we would have gotten
Seriously.
it. Do you understand? But that's stupid. You really post for Forbes 30 and say take this side. Okay, how about this one? Bro, well, at least you know how to post
was
for
the Forbes-
mugshot
was it
pictures.
this
So
year
you
or
good.
last year?
The fraud started last year. That they won the
No,
cut.
I'm saying the Forbes.
I think I don't know what. I think it was.
know
It was
this
recent. Maybe last year. I don't know. I think it might have been after the incident or whatever.
It was June 2016.
Okay, so it was a year. It was a year. It was before. It was before. Okay. But I'm sure. Do you think he started doing fraud last year?
Of course not.
For the companies that he's doing,
for some
the
time.
companies that they mentioned under the Forbes, that means he must have been doing them since
You know what
now.
he reminds me of? Those boys in
Come
America
on.
here that do all the fraud and stuff, and they've been popping bottles in
Yes,
New York
now.
all over the place.
Or the ones that will be Instagram living of them robbing somebody and
How dumb
selling
can
crack
you
and
be?
stuff like. I think police
Like,
don't watch
what?
Instagram now. It's stupid. Like it's obvious that everything this guy has built is on fraud. Because if you're a successful businessman, as you say, why should you be doing fraud?
right.
Today, do you understand? Why should you have done fraud last year? So, and you see, every day for the thief, one day for the
One
owner.
day for the owner.
So and they finally caught him. You know, Bushmeat finally caught the hunter. So you know, it's a lesson to the remaining fraudsters out there. Is you people that are doing.
If we're going to do it once.
They
and
flew
leave
me
or
out here.
something.
You people are
Like,
doing
at least.
creative directors and stuff like that. You people, I'm telling you, if you know you're doing fraud, better don't be doing stuff. Lay low. Excuse me, sir. We're looking
Keep
for a wallet.
quiet.
A whale?
Keep quiet.
You're looking
Don't
for a
even-
whale?
Don't
What
even
name is
drive a
that?
flashy car.
Guy, I can
People
even,
don't learn
guy,
it, but you know
I can
what
even drive it,
you know
but
what my dad
you're not going
says?
to know
Money
it's me.
that you don't work for, you blow
Bro,
it.
Blow,
It
that's the thing.
shocks
I'm not
you,
going
you
to
blow
buy.
it.
I'm not going to buy a Lamborghini, a Bentley, a whatever car if I'm doing fraud and be posting it on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm driving it by myself.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you see
even
me,
if
you
I
see
buy
me.
you, yeah,
But how
you
would
see
people
me,
know
you
you're
see
driving
me.
if you don't post it?
It's not for them.
Of course, no.
It's because
of
I want to
course
enjoy
I
not.
want to
the car.
enjoy the car.
But you know, people though,
It's not for
about
them.
post-
If
you
I'm
see
doing,
the
I'm not going
society
to
these
put.
days, everything has to go on Instagram.
If somebody try. I don't want to go deep into this guy, but somebody tried to justify somebody for me and say, but if he's doing fraud, why are all these companies associating with him? Bro, those companies don't know shit because here clearly we have an example of Forbes Africa who put someone on the cover.
They ain't know shit.
Because he ain't no shit.
So
Do you know how many fraudsters they meet? If they meet me on the street now, do you know how many fraudsters in Nigeria I was? You won't know now. It's what I present to you that you know
there are
now.
a lot of fraudsters among us.
A lot of fraudsters among from different countries, so they don't know shit. But the difference is you, the fraudster. You shouldn't be stupid enough to be associating yourself with, because not only is you associating yourself, putting you in limelight, but it's actually you don't know someone who's look, he doesn't even like you. He's now starting to say, let's look into this guy's business. And that's what happened to Escobar.
feds are always
Somebody who
watching.
didn't want him in public,
They're always
in politics.
watching.
So let's look into him.
What people don't realize is that even these politicians that steal ridiculous amounts of money, the US, they're always keeping track of. Wait, who just got a significant amount of wealth?
Yes.
So all these people that be putting money in accounts, or they know all of them.
Of
They know.
course.
The
They
US
rate
knows.
them. They rate.
They,
You see,
they know.
they rate
And
the
they just decide whenever they're ready to.
You know when the
for
US
them,
is ready for you,
they'll-
when you are
for
taking
them.
the money out of the US.
course.
Now
Like,
that's when they
That's where they are coming for. You see, and that's why,
Come for
and
you.
that's why Dubai is a popular hub for a lot of these people, because the money is coming into Dubai. You know, it's, and I don't blame Dubai for not cracking down on any fraudster, because here's the thing: fraudsters are not hacking into sheriffs and Alaji something's accounts. They're hacking into accounts outside of Dubai,
Yeah.
bringing the money to Dubai to buy all the fashion clothes and cars and high rises and go on the beach and do everything. So what happens? Even the fraudster in Nigeria that is defrauding somebody in Norway is taking that money and going to Dubai to go and spend it.
Yeah.
So Dubai's economy is booming.
Yeah.
So they don't care. The US,
They spend
when
money.
Nigerians and politicians take millions and go and buy houses in Houston and in Atlanta and all over, they don't care.
You're having the economy
But
down.
they don't
Yeah.
care. They don't care. They don't say anything. It's when you now want to take that money out of the US
Yeah,
that they
that's
now
when
say,
they-
"Excuse me, we think we don't know about you."
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Can you come in?
They know-
They know.
That was why they flagged Atiku now.
They know.
You saw what they did to Atiku.
Yeah, they know.
Where but they took the leg off the pedal for a little bit when he was running. They were like, okay, you can come into Yankee.
Well,
When
after
they
I finished,
said like he didn't win, they were like, no,
we don't want that
Yeah,
anymore.
no. So they know this thing. So that's the difference, and that's why some of these fraudsters too know this thing, and some of these fraudsters know that it's hard for US to go and arrest you in a country, Monaco, for instance.
Yeah.
Than when you come to their source. So some of them
Stay away.
avoid certain countries because it's like
because there are certain countries that US has deals with
extradition rights with. As soon as that the right is like it's so good, as soon as you enter, they hold you like this and say, "Well, take it to the US now." So but it's a lesson to all. First of all, crime never pays.
It doesn't.
You've just been disgraced from Forbes lips to from wearing a what's that? From wearing a black suit in Forbes lips to wearing a orange jumpsuit in some jumpsuit in wherever. From taking
Crazy
Pictures, photos.
sideway picture with money flowing on you. Anyways, mugshot you have to take sideways also.
Yes.
So you're taking sideway mugshot
He was
also.
practicing.
Hey, speaking to existence,
Speaking
man.
of
I don't
crime
know
doesn't
how
pay.
he was obviously not 30, but
Yeah.
I think it was 28 at the time.
28.
I think that's what they said.
He's probably 30 now.
Is the date on here? Did you see the date?
Oh well.
What do you see? But yeah, either. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yes,
June
you're about to
26th,
say
yeah.
something.
I said, speaking of crime doesn't pay. Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, man.
That when they killed that guy now.
Crazy.
They killed
Crazy.
him.
Either they killed him with somebody going in, or they let him kill himself.
One of the two.
They said
They encouraged it.
found like his neck bones were crushed.
No, well, that can happen too.
But that
though,
can
if you
happen.
hang
But
yourself
they said
as
that
well.
it's the likelihood of it happening isn't usually
But
as.
it's more common if when older people kill themselves. That
Oh,
can
okay,
happen.
okay. I think I
Yeah.
heard that too.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think something happened, and then there was some
Yep.
fishy stuff going on with the prison guard logs,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fishy stuff
my
going on with
sister
this
works
story.
in-
Like
my
this
mom
is
and
not
my sister,
just
they both work in the
conspiracy
prison
theory.
system. They're
Yeah.
both nurses in the prison
This is
system.
not Dr. Seuss
And they
stuff.
were saying that but this is real
This is real,
conspiracy.
yeah.
This
This
is
is not
actually
Dr.
Yeah, like
so
this is
she
real,
was saying
real-
that if you they find him about to kill himself one time, right?
Yeah.
Suicide watch.
Suicide
They don't
watch.
take you off a suicide
Yeah, that was
watch
like
for
a week.
at least
That was like was it like a week
a month.
before?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
2
They
weeks
don't
before,
take
yeah.
a suicide watch. Number
Yeah,
one.
you know, they wanted
on
him
your
to
suicide
die.
watch, they put you in a room.
Yeah, they wanted him to
they
die.
they give you a cellmate whose job is it to just sit with you and make sure you don't do anything like
Can you
that.
imagine?
Can you imagine?
I'm
They
already in
don't give
prison
you.
and not give me assignment again. You die.
You make money. No. But that's their job.
Yeah.
They make money.
Okay.
The prisoners
They
make money.
35 cents a day.
Well, they start making some money.
Make some
Yeah.
enough to buy some
And
cigarettes.
They take your clothes away from you. You get a paper smock and that's it. Because they don't want you hurting yourself at all.
So I wonder what he used. They
They give it what I was reading was they give it all back to him. They took him off suicide watch. How?
No, they
In a
wanted him
week?
there. But you know what? At the end of the day,
Yeah,
that was
of
one
course.
less
Wanted him dead.
pedophile off the
out there.
street. So
but he was
I really
gonna
don't care,
give
man.
up all the other people.
Wait, there
though.
were
That's what
gonna
I
be more
wanted.
pedophiles that would have
But
come up.
that's what we're saying though. The papers that they found, all the things they found, there's more.
There's enough. There's
They had
not
to
enough.
go after the conspiracy.
There's a
But-
guy in the royal family.
Prince Andrew.
But do we
Wait,
really?
so who is Prince
That's
Andrew again?
the King's
But do we really
son now,
believe-
the queen.
No, it can't be the Queen.
Yes.
So,
Do
no.
we really
Prince
believe
Andrew.
that
No.
they would? They
That's
would.
Prince Charles.
Prince Charles, the queen has more than one
Do we
child. You know
believe?
that, right?
Do we believe
No,
that
yeah.
they would?
The Queen has one son.
Do we believe that they will persecute?
She has more than one son.
Yes.
all this-
How many, really? How many sons does this Queen have?
2.
I only know of Prince Charles.
Wasn't it they say Trump and this guy is in there too now?
He's the second son of
Clinton.
Queen
Isn't
Elizabeth.
Really?
Bill Clinton in there?
Is Prince Charles, Princess Anne, and Prince Andrew. He was one that married Duke of Fergie. the Duchess of York.
Yeah.
The redhead woman.
I don't know that.
You don't know the whole family? Yeah, that's
really.
Yes, now.
I was thinking he was just one of like
he's the queen's son, and the queen ain't getting that shit happen to her son.
That
so
is a big
Jeffrey
fucking
Epstein,
deal.
yes, there was a bunch of people, and they were saying that I was reading this thing. They were saying that the house that he lived, and also this Epstein guy gone. How did he make his own money?
Yeah, and
that's
again,
another thing.
It's unclear.
It's all really fishy.
They say he's like some kind of like
hedge fund
manager,
but only had one account on the whole company that he's managing. Everything's very fishy.
There's a huge pedophile ring.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That people have been talking about for
a while
years.
in Hollywood too. It's a
in
whole
Hollywood,
thing.
And they're like some of the most powerful people in our society.
But wait,
yes.
we do know this though, that in prisons, the worst of they hate pedophiles and
we know that.
Rapists. So what if it was just the prisoners who just wanted him done?
But they usually make your life miserable. They don't
and
kill
they should have
you.
had the guards.
Maybe they got the guards involved too.
So the guards also were sleeping. That's what they were saying, that they were.
And
they
there's that too. I believe
usually the guards make every 15 minute rounds.
Even if he killed himself, I believe people saw it happen and just looked the other way.
But you see, the prisoners wouldn't have wanted to just off him like that.
Right? They want to torture you.
They wouldn't
rape you and all that.
You know, a lot of them they'll be thinking of how they can even get money from him. If anything, how they can shake him down for money and intimidate him or something.
No, from what we hear, not when it comes to pedophiles and rapists, they really hate them down there.
No, they do.
Like
they do.
you come in as one of those two things. You're. I mean, look at the.
Yeah, as good as
look at when they see us now, Corey now, the guy.
Yeah, but he wasn't in Gen Pop though. He wasn't in Gen Population.
So maybe they couldn't get access to him. So maybe someone planned it where they were. I don't know.
But either way,
is wrong.
The prison.
Well, don't say it's wrong. It's not wrong, but they were. That's what I'm saying. They colluded with them. They definitely knew it was happening.
Yeah.
And they just looked the other way.
Man, it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out.
There's more files that are coming out.
There is Prince Andrew was one of the names I heard. Who else? So what other names?
Mark Groening, the guy that did Simpsons.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, I was so upset when I read that. Can you imagine? There's so many people.
Don't tell me.
So many people. Let's just keep watching. And the DAs are saying they're still going to go after them. They're going to try and see what they can do. They also raided his pedophile island that he owns.
Can you imagine? He's called it Lolita Island.
Can you imagine? This guy was brazen. He didn't care.
He owned the island, so he was like,
do whatever he wants to do.
Whatever he wanted to do. They used to call the plane Lolita Express.
That's
this private jet.
Delta, right? That they said they used.
Yeah.
So then you hear of the Katy Perry too, that they accused her.
Oh yeah.
Katy Perry, I heard about it.
Yeah,
she's getting me too.
Yeah, she's getting me too though. The reporter said the presenter said that she tried to. She seemed drunk and she came to try and kiss her.
Are you serious?
All I was just thinking.
Oh, it was a girl this time.
Yeah, it was a girl.
Because the first one I heard was a guy.
Yeah, this was
it was a guy.
It was
some model.
Yeah, that was in her
pants
video.
Down
And had people sleep.
Tina Kandelaski. She's a Russian TV presenter. I think it's a she.
And she tried to rape.
She was like, I once approached her while. That's what I was thinking. I was like, hey, she really liked it.
Yeah, but you can.
They approached her while allegedly intoxicated at an event and attempted to kiss her without consent. Once you throw that word without in front of consent, your own has finished.
Yeah, fuck.
Once they throw that consent word and put without in front of it, you're done.
Yes.
You're done.
What's wrong with her? What's going on with her? What the hell?
I don't
and the same thing she tried. You know the American Idol too. There was a boy that she.
Wait. She was like,
she had the history.
Kandelaki told Russian media outlet Starhead that Katy Perry approached her but was rebuffed, prompting her to look for someone else to try and kiss.
So she was drunk. What the hell? Then go home and sleep. What the hell's wrong with you?
Once I was invited to a private party with Katy Perry, where she being pretty tipsy, chose me as an object for the manifestation of her passion.
But I have to say one thing, and I have to keep the same energy because I tend to be defensive when it's just allegations. Mm-hmm. And here's what happens sometimes. There's one allegation. Right. And there's a second allegation. Right. Yes. And sometimes it has this ripple effect where more people that may not necessarily have done anything to them, but they figure they might just, it's like a pile-on effect. Mm-hmm. Yes. And And I think that's the only thing I would say, that there's a possibility that it's just a pylon effect and it's just someone just trying to just
those
get
people
paid.
have been holding it in,
It could be
and
that
it's just
too.
now you have an opportunity because everyone else
It
is
could be
talking
that
about
too.
it.
It could be
Everyone's
that
talking
too.
about it.
But I don't. But what I'm saying is that I try not to read into like when there's like 1, 2, 3, because like I said,
But
it could
when
just-
there's smoke, there's fire. Though usually for me, I'm
I
sorry.
don't
know. No,
Yes,
it
when
can be-
there's
I don't
smoke,
know.
there's
No,
fire.
it can be a
I don't
vape.
know.
It can be an e-cigarette. So it can be-
You're an idiot.
There's so many things, man. It doesn't necessarily
No,
mean.
but she did this. Remember the American Idol boy?
She did.
He was
She
a
did.
virgin. He wanted to save his kiss
And-
for
and
the,
she kissed
and
him.
she kissed him. She took his kiss.
What
Why
an
are you
asshole.
doing that?
What an
What?
asshole.
She likes kissing people. She,
No,
asshole.
I didn't
she's
give you
told
my
you
face
people
to
that
kiss.
she
Like, what the hell's
likes.
your problem?
She has tried it before and she liked it.
Imagine, no. But if that was a man that did that to a girl,
Oh,
imagine what the outcry
yeah.
would be
Oh,
about.
yeah.
No, she's fucked up.
Okay,
for that. I'm
so-
sorry. No.
Over.
Okay. Yeah, if that
No,
was
why are you
it.
kissing? Yeah, think about it. A girl that says, "Oh, she's a virgin, she's never been kissed
but
before."
you see,
and Simon Cowell went up to her and forced a kiss
no,
on
but
her.
you see, and that's part of the double standards that
That's
I was
fucked
talking
up.
about, the dark skin and light skin girl song. If it was one, the double standard, because I saw, like, I remember seeing a video of you know,
That's not
I
the same,
said it, a
though.
girl who was topless at a theme park, and I was like, if a guy pulled down his pants at a theme park in front of kids, you're going on the what's the thing?
Pedophile
list. Do you understand? But people are egging her on and, you know, and laughing at it. So Katy Perry probably felt as a woman,
No,
what's
but
the
we
problem?
shouldn't be feeling that way though.
Eh,
You
but
can't just.
we don't keep
but
the same
see,
energy.
Men,
We don't keep the same energy,
Men
though.
or women, keep your faces and your body and your stuff to
Yeah,
yourself.
but we don't keep-
touch people. Don't invade my
Wait.
personal space.
Did
What
you
are
say
doing?
men or women? So what about the other genders?
Everybody in between. Yes.
I'm just fucking with you. Man.
Men, women, everybody in
That's it,
between. Whatever you identify as,
Nah,
keep your body to yourself.
But it's I like they should keep the same energy and investigate her the way they investigate
they
every other
should.
person.
I agree with that.
I don't care if Russell Brand broke your heart. You shouldn't be going around kissing people, man. It's not.
So Brian has moved on with himself.
I think she should move on with her life.
Speaking
too.
of other genders, did you guys hear about that Giannis guy? Or is it Vanis? Giannis.
Who's that?
Well, sorry, not the Giannis guy. Giannis lady
I don't know who that is. I've never
that
heard of person
insisted
before.
on. I'm surprised you guys didn't hear about it. Is this lady, transgender lady, hasn't done any operation or whatever, but she went to. It's kind of funny, you know, bikini wax salons. Went there and insisted that she wanted to get
A wax.
and the person said no.
Why would
I'm
you
not
say no? But
comfortable.
men get wax, like a cisgender. You can go get a wax right now. You know that, right? Should they turn you away?
Well, it's a bikini.
Yes.
A bikini wax.
Yes.
Who-
Gay
men-
men get their buttholes waxed and all that. You can get all that
it's a
stuff.
No,
waxed.
but this is
yes,
the
yes,
front wax.
Yes, you can pay for that. Why can't you? Why can't
So
she pay for it?
what if there's a specific procedure? I don't know, for vagina and penis.
There
isn't
isn't.
it?
All they're doing
I don't
is
know.
putting wax
I've
and
never gone to
stripping
wax
it
before.
off.
I don't know.
People do that.
So you think that
A man-
as a woman, if
So wait.
if you walked out of
If
bikini
Corey,
wax store,
so wait, what are
all
you
you've
saying?
seen
If you
is
and
women
Corey
that
went,
came in.
no, if you and Corey went to
Oh, bikini
a
wax
bikini
area.
wax show, are you guys going to be
And
attended by the same person?
There are different people that
Is
work
there
there.
a
Yeah.
gender specific?
I don't think so. There are men that do the
bikini?
waxing and stuff.
Is there
too,
an area
women.
for men on this side, women on this side? I don't know. Okay, I'm just asking.
So she filed a human rights
I
complaint.
mean, if
Yeah,
there's no,
they don't discriminate.
I mean, it's
feel
weird.
like-
It would be weird for you, the person, I guess, just because your natural convention is that, you know, a woman with a penis. But if you
Okay,
also,
so let me read the
if you
story.
also
So let
do
me read
men,
the story. Let me read the
It
story.
should be a problem.
Okay, so let me read the story. The woman, who can be identified as JY, sent a Facebook message to a tanning salon on Surrey, British Columbia in March, inquiring about their services. Upon finding out where they were based, she asked, "Awesome, do you do Brazilians?" The salon representative replied, "Not for men, sorry." The complainant told the
Okay.
salon representative that she's a woman and that she transitioned a while ago, but when she asked when she could schedule a visit, she received no response. She's now seeking $2,500 and an apology.
They
For
didn't
what?
even see her. That's the
2,500
only thing.
for what?
$2,500 and an apology from salon, and told the
But what's the
Calgary that-
2,500 for?
I
Pain and
guess.
suffering, honey.
So
People sue.
wait,
Wait,
People
so
sue.
wait.
Okay, but
So
okay,
did you
okay.
just hear that?
Wait,
She
pain
didn't
and
even
suffering.
go there. They didn't
Okay,
even
wait.
see her. It
All
wasn't like she was already
so
on
now
the
I'm
Wait.
starting to understand it. Now, there are bikini wax places that only serve women.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are those.
This guy is not.
So that's what I was
She's
asking
a
you.
woman.
But she
Right.
hasn't done
No,
any
no.
How
operation.
do they know?
No, but
we know.
wait.
No. Did
Story.
she tell the waxers? That
No.
she had it?
Wait.
She didn't tell them that, you know that
No.
correct.
Listen
The
to
story
me. No.
didn't say that she told that.
First of all,
She didn't say that.
Wait. So that's why I asked you that. Is there a separate procedure?
No, there isn't.
Well, you just said there's bikini wax places just for women.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
they can
let's-
choose-
so let- no,
listen,
so
wait,
let's
let
aim-
me speak.
okay.
So they can choose. There are some that it's only women only.
So-
but she called on the phone and said
Wait,
she
she didn't call on the
transitioned, right?
phone. She sent them a message.
No. Whatever. They still didn't.
Don't change the topic.
No.
Sorry, but
Wait,
let's skip to facts.
Okay,
that
the
we
facts
know.
are they never saw her.
Okay,
in person.
so but let me tell you something. They didn't do to me. They
that
did
she
not
was
do.
a woman.
The only wait,
And if
listen.
they're only a woman only place, why can't they take her as a woman?
Listen,
She's a woman.
no, why should you have to take somebody that says it? So if I tell you I'm a woman now, would you take me?
You're what I'm giving. I'm gonna go by what you're telling me.
No,
Woman.
that's not how life
Maybe
works.
that's not how life works.
First of all, they have a right. It's their business, and what she should do is just go somewhere else.
But no, listen to me. So
We can't be doing this thing.
Apparently,
man.
the woman she hasn't even closed down her business now.
Can you see? Like we can't be doing this.
Why are you
discriminating to
discriminating?
who?
To a woman who says she's
Why
a
she's
woman.
not? She has a penis, and
But they did not know that at that time, though. That's
okay,
why you
let's
keep
even
saying that.
go.
They
Let's
did
even
not
go.
know that
Let's
she
go
had
with
a
that. Let's go with
penis,
that.
right?
Let's go
Even
with the
if
facts.
they did.
Let's go with that. No,
Uh-huh.
if I know that okay, I only do Brazilian wax to vaginas. The qualification for you to get a Brazilian wax from my company is you have to have a vagina.
Right.
Whatever you call yourself
places that-
does not matter to me because there's only one fact. Now,
Right.
let's backtrack. She sends them a message.
Right.
They respond saying, "Sorry, we don't give it to men."
Right.
Now, obviously,
And then she responded back
Wait,
with-
they might have their reasoning for. Now we can say maybe okay. How did they conclude she's a man? I don't know what she looks like, so maybe it might be.
But they never
obvious.
even saw
But
her. It was all messaging.
Facebook message. Now you have Facebook
Was it
profile
Facebook
now.
messaging
So-
or
Did you
email?
not say it was Facebook message?
No, so that was a separate one. That was
Okay.
a separate one. This is there's the one that I was really talking about. This is the one. I'll read the story.
No, that
So-
one. Read that one again.
No. The one we're talking about right now.
The
The
real one
main
that we're talking
one.
about. Yeah. So there are actually two.
The one we
two-
just started talking about. Read that
The one-
first story again. The one you first read. You said she sent a message, and they didn't respond to her.
Yes.
They say no, we don't give it to men. And what did she say?
And
She
then
said,
she
"I'm a
said,
woman."
"I'm a woman,
And they
I'm
didn't
trans-
answer. So
I-
what's okay?
So then
what they do wrong?
That's wrong. I'm a woman.
So is everybody you message that? So when people don't respond to your message, you start suing them.
What did she have proof that they didn't do it
Wait,
because
but
she's
when
trans?
she does exactly, all they did was not respond to her message. Can't tweet
let me
at
read this
Delta
one.
right
So let
now.
me-
Send a DM
so
to
let me
Delta
read
right
this
now
one.
saying something about your flight, and they don't answer you. So that means you can't sue them.
So let me read this one.
Read the
A
actual
Brazilian
story.
wax provider in Canada has shut down her home-based business. So after being sued for turning away a trans-identified woman over concerns about safety. The blah blah. The plaintiff is controversial trans activist Jessica Yanev, born Jonathan Yanev, who was recently accused of child exploitation of an underage girl. Yanev filed more, and that's a whole other
I was
story.
gonna say, why is that a factor in this story? But okay, continue.
Yanni filed more than a dozen complaints against Vancouver area aestheticians and sought aestheticians and sought monetary compensation because of the business owner's refusal to provide waxing services to someone with biologically male genitalia. As Brazilian waxes are generally sought by women to remove unwanted hair, Yaniv contends that such a denial of service is a violation of Section 8 of the British Columbia Human Rights Code. The law says that it is illegal for a business to deny services on the basis of gender,
Okay, so
identity,
there's a law
sexual
against
orientation, or other qualifiers.
Okay.
The Toronto Sun, which published a summary of the hearing, reports that Yaniv claimed to have seen a Facebook advertisement in spring 2018 offering a promotion for Brazilian wax. De Silva told the tribunal that she had started her business after previously only performing waxes on friends and family, and that Yaniv was the first person who responded to her ad. So this is someone that
she's even just learning.
Yeah, this is like
she's just learning
a business
this is the
that
same person that if she does it
for
wrong
her
for
friends.
Yanis, Yanis will go and sue her that she did the wrong thing for her.
Although Yaniv and De Silva agreed on a time to do the wax, De Silva admitted to cancelling the session after Yaniv sent De Silva a picture and identified as a transgender woman. De Silva told the tribunal that she has no problem with LGBTQ, but not comfortable or even trained to conduct a waxing session with someone with male
genitalia. She doesn't do it. So she should now force herself to do something she doesn't do.
Said she took the advice of her husband after she was frightened by a bombardment of text. Can you imagine?
Yes, that's what happens now because they're telling you, we have to accept everybody. We're equal. We're this, we're that. She's even looking out for herself because this is the same person who, if she does this the wrong way, this same Giannis will go and sue her again now that
and
she
then,
has done the wrong thing on her.
The Silver testified that she would be willing to perform the service on a transgender client who had undergone gender reassignment surgery.
Because she's used to what she knows is a vagina. And that's what I was trying to say, that if you're specializing in that, then it shouldn't be a problem, because you're like, look, this is the service we offer.
Well, to the professionals do both.
If this
but
is
she's not a professional.
even a professional,
So
if you say, even if you're a professional, if a professional says, look, I'm only trained to work on biological women, then the problem is as a biological man. Because that is what a transgender woman is biological until she does the gender reassignment. Biologically, she's a man.
Think about it.
So
if someone had told you in 2019, right? Someone will be filing a human rights complaint because they refused to give them a bikini wax.
You see, we can do. You see, until you change the biology,
and it's just
because there's you see, we have this moral everything goes. You have to accept, and yet we can say all this stuff, but when it comes down to facts, that woman, transgender woman, is still biologically a man. No matter how much makeup, no matter how much she calls
it. I'm not
it,
speak on what I don't know.
she's biological. If she has a penis, okay, she has. Okay, don't let me use the word man, because the word is what is always causing confusion in our society. Biologically, she has male genitalia.
Yes.
What we know as male genitalia, what is defined as male genitalia.
Right.
So if as a company we say we only do so far, okay, this is a learner, but let's even say a professional company has been there for 20 years, says, look, our staff only do bikini waxes for vaginas, which is known as biologically female genitalia.
No. That's
vaginas. Okay, we use vagina and
Yeah.
penis. So we only do waxes on vaginas. Everything else, unfortunately, life as we knew it, a vagina comes with someone who's a woman. Now the definition of woman has been changed, so we have to take that away and go down to the only thing we know is differentiate, which is the vagina and penis. So if a call yourself whatever you want to call yourself comes in, but you have a penis, I have a right to say we can't do that, because what we do is not on penises, it's on vaginas, and you don't have one.
I can't believe
that's the truth.
Times we've said vagina.
I keep saying it. Yeah, I like saying it. but it's the truth. But it's the truth. It's like, but that's the truth. Is that like a nose and we cannot do that. So should you sue me for that?
And she's finding it as a hate crime.
How's that a hate crime?
I said we've lost our minds. And remember I was telling you Canada, they're the ones they're like really ahead in this transgender thing.
Yeah, so how's that a hate crime?
Remember I told you that they made it a crime almost to like refer it's not official yet, but I know in some regions it's almost like if you call someone by the wrong gender, you could get arrested.
Yeah. So it's wild, and then the one that
this is the world we live in.
Then the one that they then ignored. So are you telling everybody that ignores your messages, you start suing them too, or you start trying to get compensation from them for suing your messages? If you take your phone now and go and DM, like I say, at the airport, and you're missing your flight, you DM Delta, what happens if they don't respond? You're going to sue them?
Anyway,
Wale, I'm confused, man.
Myself, I don't
want to touch it because I don't want to offend, but like you don't want to hear my
discrimination and before we move on, and discrimination and because of the world
that someone will file a human rights
because of the world before we move on, we're going to move on real quick. But what ends up also happening is because of this quote unquote the way we've let things slide out, people take any slight thing as discrimination. Any small thing, it's because it's black.
We've lost
any small thing
is
because he's a man. Any small thing because he's a woman. Any small thing, guys. Some things are not that it's not that simple. It's just life is not as simple as I'm a black guy, so everything is white guy did to me is because he's a racist. Yeah, I'm a man or a woman. Everything is guided to me because is.
We didn't even get to touch on the.
I think we've lost our minds. I think, but we should.
Speaking of losing our minds, the shootings, RIP, all those. We had 3 in a week in America. 3. El Paso? The festival before that.
The garlic festival.
Remember that?
Was it the same week?
Yes. See how much it is? We're even forgetting other ones already.
And then we had the El Paso,
and then the same day, 13 hours later, then Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, that was one that happened like within a day.
Yes. Not even up to a day. 13 hours.
It's funny because my cousin was around, right? With her son and her daughter. They were staying at my place. and I was trying to convince her. Like, I was telling her, look, man, like, because the son just graduated from A levels in Jan, and he's trying to figure out where he wants to do university. I was trying to convince her. I'm like, look, this guy wants to do robotics. He needs to come to the United States. I was giving her suggestions. Southern California universities,
MIT, and
I was trying to convince her. She kept saying, I don't know that this Yankee, man, all this your mass shooting.
And then
I'm like, stop it. I was like, what do you? I'm like, mass shooting is what? I was telling her no. I was like, nah. I was like really stepping on my trying to sell this thing to her because I like the kid. Like, I love that kid.
Countries. Oh, go finish.
Within that night.
It was two of
it was a mass shooting. The next morning, we woke up to another mass shooting.
Countries are starting to say that.
I went to her. She was like,
"Shouldn't come to the States." Yeah.
Can you imagine? Yeah. But the funny thing was Venezuela. Venezuela
has
the mouth to tell people not to come to America.
No. But it's a safety. No.
I mean, what true with the Hispanics, especially if they're targeting Hispanics.
Yeah. But it's funny because that was the same weekend I went to Toronto, and it was like. The contrast. That was my first time going to Canada. So the contrast in the environment and here it was so different. Like I can't, for the like of me, tell you what the Toronto or whatever they call their area police squad car looks like.
Don't they ride around in those?
Only God
horses?
even knows for them.
Not
not all of them, but I can't really I can't necessarily tell you because I didn't get no. They're not in that area. I don't think they have mountains there, but I can't tell you what the cars look like because I didn't see them enough. But I tell you that I crossed the border back and within 10 minutes I've seen like 6 New York State's police troopers, just on the highway. And that was the weekend that shooting happened. And it was like, it's given to perspective. We went for Caribana. Yeah. We didn't hear one, I went for Caribana, but nobody heard one incident happen. Not even shooting of stampede, of arresting, of nothing.
So, and I've actually...
But we come back to the States and it's like...
I've had time to really, really think about this gun issue, right? And there's a reason why it's prevalent in the United States.
There's so
we have more guns than people in the US.
Yes.
It's possible.
Yes.
We've already passed because of the Second Amendment. I feel like we've already gotten to a stage where, because we talked about this in the past, the things we can do, but we've gotten to a stage where it is almost like gun is part of our culture.
Yes.
Yeah, so
it's like part of our religion.
Yes.
People make billions from that. So what do you want to now do?
So
people buy more guns.
So we're always
whenever these topics come up, gun sales go up.
So one of the proposals, right? Ban on assault weapons.
Yes.
But that's not gonna happen.
Of course.
It's almost impossible because here's what happens: you take away someone's assault weapon, and more people are gonna feel like so. If you give me my assault weapon, what if someone comes at me with an assault weapon? And that there's going to be that part.
And are you going to collect all the assault weapons
That's
back?
what they can do a buyback. They've done that before.
No.
They can do a buyback.
New Zealand did that.
Yeah, but a buyback is not mandatory now.
I'm saying, but optional. They can, is what I'm saying. They can do a buyback.
Baltimore City that we're in, every now and then the police, they do
buybacks.
Chicago.
Yeah. Donate your guns or whatever.
Even if you don't own it, even if you first find a gun on the street,
bring it. No questions asked.
No questions asked. Even if you have used that gun to kill 25 people, just bring it back. We'll buy it back. But has it really stopped crime rates?
It's not going to stop mass shooting.
Has it really stopped anything?
So what are we going to do?
Because if you have 5 guns and you're broke, you just take 3 back and you keep.
It's not going to stop anything.
It's not going to stop anything.
No. Now, so they've also proposed that maybe we take away guns from people that have mental illness.
So what defines
this thing called red flag?
What defines it mental illness?
That's where it gets a little tricky.
What defines
because if I have a mental illness and it's under control,
and you've never had treatment,
what you're telling me is that I don't have a right to protect myself.
Not even
because you don't always take your medication.
Not even that. Mental illness is.
So you're saying just take it.
Let me tell you something. Somebody who
illness, no gun for you.
No, you can't do that because this America, people have the 3 of us like this here. If we go and do evaluation, one of us will have mental problems. One of us will have something. So they will name it for you. Say, guy,
diagnosable with medication. I'm saying
you can't say I don't want that. Be feeling. Say, guy, don't be crazy.
You've all been able to control yourself without medication.
No,
for the most part.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Mental illness is just a bullshit way for them not to call this white terrorist. Because let me tell you something. For me to go and buy a gun, load the gun up and deliberately drive to somewhere and shoot people with
You
an
know what you're
intention.
doing.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
There's
you're
no
not crazy.
mental. I'm not
You know
drunk.
what
I'm not
you're
intoxicated.
doing.
I'm not
Yep.
crazy. I know exactly what I might have mental issues that are not related to this, but I know for sure what I'm doing. And because let me tell you what they first need to do. They first need to forget anybody who commits a crime with mental illness. You are collecting the same sentence as somebody who doesn't have mental illness. First of all, take away that off the field, because see the guy who killed Nips. First of all, they said mental problem, but you came in, he accused you of snitching. You were able to have this whole conversation. You went to go and get your gun and come back. All of a sudden, I'm sure it was his lawyer that told him just drive to a police station and tell them you're mad. You get something better. Take that off the table. So let people not know. Yeah, let people not know that mental illness is a defense to use. Take that off the table. So when we take that off the table, then we can then now have the people who are really, really mentally ill. Then we can then say, okay, why does this one now need a gun at that point? Then secondly,
do you have a gun?
access to gun? I don't have a gun, but I shoot.
Yeah,
I go to the range because I know someone who has like 30 guns. So every time he gets a new gun, we
why
go
do
to
you
the
need
range.
30 guns? For what?
Every time he buys a new gun, he
how many?
texts me.
Wait, what kind of what type of
kind
That's
of
a
gun?
safe. And like,
But then, I know it's
it
a
has-
collection of
it has,
them
like,
for
I
protection.
don't-
You know
I
my
don't know.
fear
No, so
of
he-
having a gun in my house.
Oh.
Accidentally shooting yourself.
So
That's
his
what
problem-
happens.
Shooting somebody.
And that's
so
what happens.
no, but I will tell you something. I learned.
I didn't want him
That's
having.
what happened.
So I
don't
used to
want
be
that
scared. I
energy.
used to be scared of guns. I mean, I'm still scared of them if you point it at me. But with this person I know, I got to see gun safety from a different point of view, because he's very, very safety
Pro-gun,
conscious. Like
right,
when I
right,
was the first time I went to his house and I took the gun and I pointed it, he was like, "Bro, don't ever fucking do that, because it might be empty." But
You
there might be
never
something in
know.
the chamber. Like when we're going to the range, guy, you have to carry the gun, make sure it's pointing up and stuff like that. We can't put the bullets in the same. So like, there's a lot of when people follow safety issues. Like he's a gun collector, so he likes he just likes and he goes to shoot in the range. Now I feel it's overkill, because it's like, dude, you have like 30. Like sometimes we take like 10 just so we can shoot some of them, And I like shooting, but it's an overkill to have 30. But one thing I will say is, I was driving.
It's like saying it's overkill to have 10 cars.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
for
So
some people,
because for him,
it's
not even having it as necessary for protection in the house. It's more of, I like guns and I want to shoot
he likes
guns.
the technology.
And I got into guns and I like guns too. I like shooting guns too. It's something I like to do. I go to the range and shoot guns. And but one thing I do realize is, I was like, when I was driving to Toronto, I stopped to buy wiper shield fluid or whatever at a Walmart in uptown New York. This is like,
You have a final song.
yeah. This is like a place that has like, maybe five black people in the whole area. But I walked into Walmart and they were selling guns.
Yeah, Walmart sells guns.
I was looking for the
Crazy.
car aisle. This is the
Walmart
first time
sells
I was
guns.
looking for the car aisle, and on my way back, I see a shelf of guns. And the guy
Maybe
said,
they said they're going to stop selling that.
Lie,
the
song.
lie.
guys, no,
They're
still gonna keep
no,
selling
they
that
said,
song.
no.
They stopped assault rifles
Yeah.
in 2016.
The guy
Okay,
said
they
to me,
stopped.
the guy said to me, "Do you want to get a license?"
that
And
easily.
That easily, yeah. So
No
you can
background
easily-
check, no nothing?
You can easily just do it all there and there. You have an
See, and
ID,
that's
all
wrong.
that
That's
stuff.
wrong.
And that's
though.
the
Why
problem.
are you not doing?
I could
you
have
could've been a
left there.
criminal
I could
or
have left. I
something.
think I could have left there with a gun if I was really.
But they will have done a background check before they give you the license. Now.
yeah, but a background check is not thorough. It's just to see if you have like records. of, like-
Criminal
Right
record.
then,
Yes.
but there are
So
other.
what other
but
else
it
kind of
doesn't-
background
your
That's what I'm
record
saying.
doesn't
So-
always come
so
up, though.
ex- so-
You can,
so-
there are more thorough records
And then
they
I
can
think
do.
the only ones that come out are probably like federal
Right, so
charges,
not even your
not
state,
your
not
state
state.
charge. Because
So-
it's the same way a cop can pull me over in New York. I don't know about the tickets I have in Maryland because they don't have access to that database. So I don't think that the check is for anything like that's some people's thing is like, yo, wait for do like a 6-month check.
Yeah.
Yes.
The way you do checks for when you want to give people papers, do that.
Yeah, there's
Let
nothing
them
wrong
sit
with
down,
that. We can
file
take this
application,
seriously.
pay money, sit down, and do a
And do
thorough.
counseling
Okay,
and
okay,
everything.
so let's-
You see what
let's-
Japan's their own thing is, right? Japan, you have to take a class. You have to there's so many steps you have to go
No, you
through
can play-
to get a gun.
But let's think that through. So you're saying do like a 6-month thing, but you can see how that would completely stunt the gun industry, right? In terms of sales,
Okay.
right? And you can see how that can be. And again, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, just looking at it from like an industry perspective. If I sell guns, and then suddenly now back then if I could sell 10 guns to people like
Easily,
within a
yeah.
day. All of a sudden,
Nah, I'm
it's
selling
taking
it,
me
yes.
6 months
So
to
you
sell
have
one
sports
gun.
business for somebody.
Yes,
yeah.
like it's
You're
it's
sport-
very
I-
very
I'm
disruptive.
sorry,
So that's
but-
why I say-
so human life is
To
not
the-
worth more
Do you
than your
want to know
happiness.
my
But I
take?
feel you. But
My take is that I don't
some,
think there can be a solution.
But then
to
some
this.
people will argue that the right to defend myself is more
yes,
important than
it's more
anything
important
else,
than anything
and
else,
it's in the
yes.
Constitution.
That's what I'm saying.
too.
So
And
unless they
constitutions
take that
can be
off.
amendments. You
But
know, it can be amended
you see,
and
you
ratified
cannot-
and all that.
it
Like
could be.
things
but
can change.
You cannot,
could be.
you cannot change it that easily. Something
Of
that
course
brings
not.
money.
Of course not. The NRA, especially
Yeah,
in
you
it,
can't bring-
that's
so-
never gonna change. And when those babies at Sandy Hook died and they didn't do anything,
Do
America's
you
not
want to know
changing
when?
anything
Do you
for
want to
these
know
guns
when? Do you want
at
to
all.
know when? Do you want to know when this would stop? When
I don't think it's stopping
when
anytime
the
soon.
same thing with like things in Nigeria or all these developing third world countries is when these things happen to when you're not having random people die, but like people in power. Or their
Didn't they
kids.
shoot? Gabby Gifford was shot. They had a baseball
They-
game with us
No,
politicians, and nothing happened.
But if it's very if it's
Gabby Gifford, there was a
Yeah.
Republican man.
Yeah.
there was a woman
Yeah.
too that got shot one time. I forgot her name. But this
Gabby
is
Gifford.
isolated incidents that we're mentioning.
Yeah.
If it became a norm where every mass shooting was involving someone up there, eventually someone would have to fight for themselves.
I don't think it would make a difference. But
These people don't fight for
but
them.
I want
They
to
don't
make
care.
there's this unique point I want to make is that you look at this, right, and then you look at what's going on in Hong Kong. Are you guys familiar?
With the,
Where the
with
government
yeah.
is really cracking down, like
and they're protesting. Yeah.
you see. But that's
And then I saw one
but that's
stupid idiot
but
that
you
was
see
crying.
stuff like that
Did you
is
see that video of that
of the girl
entitled South
of the girl
African white girl that was
of
crying?
the
What was she
white
crying
girl.
about?
She was
This is not
crying
the Hong
that-
Kong guy, no.
Yeah, she had moved
Are you
from
mad?
South Africa. But then, you know, but I'm bringing up that point to make a case that the reason why people are so gung-ho about their guns here is, I think the way it
Their way
started
of
out
life,
was,
man.
it's almost like, it's really as to protect themselves against
the government.
Go-
Back in the day,
government tyranny.
back
That was
in
how
the
it started.
day, that
because that was how America was even
right.
built.
It was
Against
the
Europe,
right,
they
right.
protected themselves.
Rule and all that.
So they saw it as,
get
okay,
it,
we never
but
want
we're not under Europe rule anymore.
but then-
You're America. You've been
but
in the
then-
country for how
but
many
then-
years now?
But then you have a government that, do you see how big our defense budget is?
Okay.
They can literally wipe us out at any given point. So it's almost like
so
people
the
want
assault rifle that
so-
they had that would protect them against machine guns.
Obviously not.
So
It won't.
what?
It won't. But I'm
Against
trying
bulldozers
to
and
give
all
you.
that. It
I'm trying to
won't
give
be
you.
shit.
I'm trying to give you the
Look.
other side, their perspective.
I
It's almost like
understand.
a way to protect themselves
But you
against
can't protect yourself
government
against the
tyranny.
government. You cannot. If they want to
Eh,
do something
if
to you,
that's
they
what
can.
it's-
But
started
then,
as-
but then you want to
Look,
have,
it
you want to
started
know that
as
you have
that.
something.
You see, it's too late. They pointed there would have been a point
the
to cut
thing.
it off, but it's too late.
It's too
you
many
cannot. Let me
guns.
tell you,
It's too many
You
guns.
cannot say take guns back, cancel guns because not everybody that owns a gun is using it. Some people own guns that might never fire it in
I
their life.
understand that.
Some
I
people own it
understand
like the
that.
guy I know and go to only fire it in a range. And some people do it to go and do evil with. But
I
you can't then.
understand that.
Unfortunately, when the mindset of a human being is a big issue. Humans in America convinced that gun is a right.
Yeah, it's almost
so
like-
you can't really you taking away something that I know is a fundamental right of mine. My mind, I grew up as a child. They grew up knowing, the right to bear arms. They like guns. They know they have easy access to it, and then you're now coming to just snatch it away based on incidences that happen, which is bad incidences. But it's almost like you have to wipe out the memory of, like you have to train maybe upcoming kids to make them believe that, okay, maybe you can say, okay, from a certain age
But
now,
you can always change
maybe we
it
can
now,
say that
you know
now
that.
and say for the future where.
Or
From
going
today,
forward,
going forward,
we would take
going forward,
assault rifles out of the right
Yes,
to
going
bear arms and all
forward,
that.
we take assault rifles out. Going forward, certain age, you can't buy guns unless you're,
20 whatever.
20 whatever. Or going forward, yeah. So that way you're so the group coming behind are coming into an environment where
it's-
guns is not part of their life. That's the only thing you can do. For this generation, it's done. So you
I
can say
think-
going forward.
I
But
think
also,
in-
they
But
also have
even
to
when he
cut
puts his
down on-
rules-
Like, did you see the
Get it.
teenager
Yeah.
who stockpiled 10,000?
But that's what I was going to say.
10,000.
If you put these rules,
Teenager.
18-year-old.
If you put these
he was
rules-
planning to go shoot up a place as well.
if you
I
put
think
up
I
these
heard about
and he
rules,
lives in his parents' house. So
people are
think I
going
heard
to
about
people are
this.
going to then go and then start stockpiling guns, and then maybe
And
they should start putting maybe they should start
how many bullets you can buy, how many
no, you can't be
weapons
doing.
you can buy.
Maybe they
You
should also
have
find
to.
a way to also have some sort of offense towards people who survivors of this their friends and families, because it's every goddamn time there's a shooting, one idiot comes out to say, "Oh, I saw signs."
Honestly,
so you saw signs, but you never did anything about it.
After this last gun shooting, before this, I'd never ever considered getting
also
a gun.
The police.
But after this last one, I started thinking that maybe.
So what
guy,
would have
do
happened?
you know how many people report?
I need to learn to protect myself.
Do you know how many people report?
What would have happened if you had a gun in there with him? He
had
machine gun. You have a
but you want to,
gun.
But you know, do you want to know something?
Do you want to know something? Not having anything.
But you want to know something?
But he shot cops.
Do you want to know
cops
something?
Have guns,
No,
and they're even trained.
I don't know.
Wait, who shot cops?
So all I'm just trying to say is I feel like I'm getting to this point where
how many cops did they shoot?
It feels hopeless.
No, that's a different case. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay.
6 cops.
No. First of all, we'll get to that. Before we get to that, what Corey say? If a guy comes in here with a machine gun, I shoot good, but let's even say I don't. But if a guy comes in here with a machine gun,
and you have your own Glock,
and I have my own gun, do you know? First of all, that guy, he's not trained. Number one. Number two, he's gonna be scared when you start firing back at him because he's a coward.
But all you have to do is just spray.
Exactly. So when you know that there's a chance that someone else has a gun in there, maybe
you may be a little iffy. Do you understand? But let's now go to the Philly one.
What?
Philly situation was not a mass shooting.
Wow.
And then in the Philly situation, I just saw videos of, I don't even know, maybe he really did shoot 6 cops because videos just circulated of cops pouring blood on themselves. They went 2 cops ran to their car and got fake blood and poured it on themselves.
What?
There's a video that I'll show you guys after this. It came off like the helicopter mistakenly recorded them. They ran to their car or opened it. And
are you sure it wasn't water?
It wasn't water. It looked like blood. Like if I can find it, if someone's showing it now, I want to believe it was water, that they were bleeding and they were washing themselves off with water. I want to believe, but what it looked like, it looked a little weird, like it wasn't water. Now I want to believe someone pouring water, but that was a hostage situation because that was a drug bust. That one has nothing to do.
He didn't want to get caught.
He didn't want to get caught.
That nigga he wasn't trying to go.
But I do hope those guys. I want to believe those guys were pouring water on themselves.
Shooting where the guy still shot cops, right?
What mass shooting?
The one in the synagogue. He shot the guard, and the guard was armed.
What synagogue? The
one in Pennsylvania, wasn't it? Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yeah.
There's been so many.
There's been too many.
There's been so many, and but that's
even
what I'm
with
saying.
the gun.
There's been so many
was
that
another
I feel.
The good guy with a gun that's supposed to chase him. He got shot too.
But there was one that the guy shot and saved
everybody.
But I think I'm getting to a point where there's so many of them that it feels so hopeless now.
Right.
It's so hopeless now that I'm starting to think maybe I should.
No, it is.
Maybe I should protect myself.
The only problem with having a gun is like,
because clearly this country is just it's like the West.
Unfortunately, you don't.
It's like the Wild West.
But the only problem is that we don't stay in an open carry place.
Right.
Then
So
the rules of having a gun.
Oh yeah, Maryland. Maryland is where
Maryland is a very like
thank God for that.
I've got to learn about the rules of Maryland.
It's
very, very. I thought about getting a gun when I started going to the range, but it was just like so.
I feel like if I have a family and start having,
you don't want to keep a gun in the house too.
I don't want to.
Kids.
But so let's say you live in like the woods and call.
That one I'll stockpile.
You need to have something in case something happens.
I'll even have landmines and stuff like that.
Or you live in one of these isolated areas. No? You need something. You need something.
I would feel that.
But
kind of
I really hope I never come to that point. I've always been very, very wary of guns, but I'm really hoping that. But I feel like the more this happens, more and more.
But you know,
desensitized.
But you know one thing. You know one thing about guns too. You never really hear of mass shooting at a gun range.
Because everyone has a gun.
Yeah, exactly. One of my friends came to town and we went to the gun range and he was very, very scared. And not based on him firing a gun, but based on, people here have guns too. But when we left, he said something in the car. I was like, bro, that might have been the most polite place I've ever been in my life. Because everybody was, excuse me, sir, my bad. Like everybody was,
sorry.
Was like, because they do, because they were like, they see you holding an AR-15 too. So they're like, bro, chill.
Guys, we gotta wrap up, man. Before we go, I just want to say again, please don't forget to follow us on Instagram, smiling_sufferer, on Facebook, smiling sufferer. Just search for us. On Twitter @smilingpod. Smiling Sufferer is, for those that can't spell, SMILING. Sufferer is spelled SUFFERER. Right? I got that right. Yeah.
One that can't spell.
So Wale, can you introduce the outro song for us? I think this is one of our boys.
Yeah, he's one of our guys.
He's our
was on
guy.
a song with somebody, Shanti, featuring. I don't know if it's a feature or they collab.
Daramola
and
Daramola.
and Shanti, and it's called it's
Shishi.
just Daramola and
It's called
Shishi.
Shanti.
Sorry, the song
Shishi.
is called Shanti.
Yeah.
Featuring Kenny Holland. I think.
Kenny
and
Holland?
somebody
Yeah,
else,
man.
It's a good
Daramola
song.
recently
It's
got
a-
like a deal, right?
Sony publishing
Yeah,
or
man.
writing or something.
Publishing
Yeah,
deal.
some
He's got
Sony,
something.
yeah.
He's got
Some
something
Sony
going
deal,
on. So
yeah.
big ups to D Flow, man. That's our boy right
aka
there.
D-Flow.
And I think that's about it. Yeti, do you have any parting words?
Nope.
Okay.
Be kind to each other.
I'm still not used to this hair on your head. I'm just not used. Have you ever
You
seen
want her to look
Yeti?
like Lupita?
I'm just not used to Yeti wearing this, but all right. Thanks. We're going to be back next week. It's good to be back. So thank you. Bye.
You need to call-
Wigs a lot though.